go. It looks like it's working. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have not begun yet. I'm sitting. Forgot to take my fancy cushion out. I never stream with that cushion on my chair. What am I doing? All right, we are going to send a Twitter post telling people that we're live. All right, let's see. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Go over here and do. What am I looking for? This is what I'm looking for. That thing right there. Excellent. Bing. What are we doing? 25, 65, 65. And then I need a link. I need a shareable link right there. Ooh, there we go. Whee! All right, I think that should do it. Do this. There we go. I think I got it. All right. Oh, my tea, my water is ready for my tea. I gotta go get my tea. Post that. Sweet. Why is it not posting? Post. There we go. I posted it. Okay, now I'm gonna go to my Discord and spam everybody on Discord. If you guys are on my Discord, you're about to get spammed. Stand by. Ooh. Oh, that's the wrong one. It's the videos and the stream. There we go. What do I say? Oh, I should just copy paste what I put on Twitter. That would make my life easy. Ha 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 ha. You don't need the hashtags though. Hashtags are for Twitter, not Discord. And then I need a link to the live stream. So complicated. Discord. Boom. All right. All right. I think we're ready to rock and roll. Oh, I need my image. Where's my image? Put my image on there. There we go. There we go. Now I'm ready to rock and roll. Yes. All right. Get rid of the embed. Bull crap. There we go. Awesome. Bacon, pork chops are delicious. I actually almost never eat bacon and pork chops. Ever. I eat chicken and beef. Chicken and beef are like, well, we eat pork ribs, I guess. We eat ribs, but it's not the same thing. All right, let's get this junk out of my face. Woo, okay. I got that junk done. I gotta get my tea, because this is empty right now. And then we're gonna rock and roll. Pork tenderloin? I don't know that I've ever had a pork tenderloin. I've never gotten tenderloin before. I've never bought tenderloin. I don't think I've ever ordered it at a restaurant. You see, tenderloin is like one of the more expensive cuts, and I used to be like really poor, so like I would never get like can't afford that crap. I couldn't even afford like bad cuts of steak. But see now, like we have steak and we usually get ribeyes, and those are really good. So I don't think I would ever do a tenderloin because ribeye steaks are just so stinking good. I actually have 2 of them right now that we bought a few days ago. I need to do a cookout. I literally have been planning to do a cookout. It's been in my like daily journal for the last 2 days, but I haven't had time. I need to do a cookout because we have 2 steaks that need to get cooked and then a bunch of chicken. That'll be delicious. So anyway, I used to get, oh, no. I used to eat lots of pork chops. When I lived down in Central America, I ate tons of pork chops. I would get these packets of them, obviously. And I don't, dude, if anybody's ever lived in Central America, the food down there is so much better. And I'm not even talking about the food they cook and stuff at restaurants or whatever. I'm just talking, go to the grocery store and buy food. Pork chops, chicken, oranges, bananas, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. The food is better. You could take these pork chops and literally what I would do is I would pan fry them and I would salt, pepper, and garlic powder. That's it. And these pork chops were succulent. Oh my word. And the oranges, the oranges were like as big as a grapefruit pretty much. They were not orange in color, interestingly enough. They were actually green. When they were ripe, they were green. And they were about almost as big as a grapefruit. And these things were so juicy and delicious. Oh, the food in the US is like garbage compared to like stuff down in Central America that I was eating for like 4 years. So gosh, you can't take a pork chop here and do what I just described. It would probably taste like garbage and be dry and hard. But down there it was like, I think most of the stuff down there, well, at least when I was living down there, it's been a while, but when I was living down there, everything is like, it wanders the pasture and just eats normal crap. You know, it's not like fattened up and plumped like we do it in the States, you know. So anyway, I gotta get my tea. I'm gonna play a sleazy ad for you, and then we're gonna start the Q&A. Woo!
Looking to master the art of running a role-playing game? Look no further than The Secret Art of Game Mastery. Now available on Kickstarter. Whether you're a new game master looking to learn the ropes quickly, or a veteran seeking new tips and tricks to elevate your game, this guide has got you covered. Say goodbye to feeling overwhelmed by the ins and outs of RPGs, and say hello to becoming a confident and skilled game master. In The Secret Art of Game Mastery, the DM Lair team has distilled over 100 years of real-time game master experience into one easy-to-use book, with advice on planning sessions, engaging your players, making combat more fun, and more. The Secret Art of Game Mastery will become an indispensable tool in your GM toolkit. Furthermore, the 2 companion books, The Secret Art of Preparation and The Secret Art of Note-Taking, offer guidance and templates as you craft your campaign and adventures, making it easier than ever to capture important notes and plan future plot points for your games. Level up your game in any system or genre with The Secret Art of Game Mastery. Click the link on the screen to back the project now.
Uh-oh. Where's the button? All right, there we go. Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? So we're gonna just be hanging out for the next few hours until our Kickstarter closes, kind of walking in the landing here and seeing where we end up, answering questions and stuff, just chilling, hanging out. Yeah, that's all we're doing today. So you can start. My hair is falling in front of my face. It's supposed to stay sticking up. There we go. That's better. Gotta make sure I look good for the camera, you know. So we're just doing that, hanging out, chilling, talking, answering questions and crap like that. That's all we're doing today. So, you know, ask your questions and stuff. I am going to, oh yes, I did see, what was that? Ziploc Bob, hey, what's up, dude? You were very welcome, man. That PC, we got that PC last year through StackUp. We raised, I think 6,000 was the goal to be able to fund a PC. And we hit 6,000 last year, and if that PC went to you, awesome, man. I'm happy to help, man. This year there's another cat. Look, I have a new cat, by the way. This year we hit 2,000 or 3,000 for StackUp. I can't, oh no, he comes up. Hey Twitch, what's going on? We hit 2,000 or 3,000, I can't remember, for StackUp this year. So, hi Twitch. So yeah, every year we generally do a StackUp donation drive. So this cat here is our new cat. Imagine that. The camera adds 10 pounds to who? Who are you talking about? Effa? I hope you're not talking about me, because that would just not be nice, and then I would probably have to go cry after the stream's over. Twitch is our new cat. He actually, when I moved back from Central America, as I was talking about just a little bit ago, I got back from Central America, and this was like, this cat and another cat were my first cats that I got. And when my wife and I were like, we had to move to an apartment for a while. They didn't allow animals, and so my mom kept the cat. And now we got the cat back because he was sick and stuff, and he needed more attention. So we were taking care of him for a while, and then we were like, you know, Mom, you can just leave Twitch here. We'll just keep Twitch. And she's like, okay, whatever. So now we have another cat, and he follows me and likes attention, and he always purrs. He's a loud purr, so you can always hear him. You don't even have to pet him. He could just be like on the floor near me, and he's just like. There we go. He's just gonna stay up here and get some attention for a while. Oh, what were you doing? Okay, so I need to do. Oh, hello, Penguin Butt. Welcome to the stream. We have a moderator here. That's good. We'll keep some law and order at the very least. Jeez, Twitch, you got too much hair. Oh, that's hot. That did not cool off at all. We went to, so one of the things that my wife and I do is we give monthly donations to the Humane Society. There's a Humane Society chapter, whatever they call them, in the city where we live. It's called the Capital Area Humane Society, and we give monthly donations to them. And one of the things they do once or twice a year is they have these like open houses where they'll invite you to like their building, and they will have hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that and drinks. And so last night we went to one of those, and they always have like, you can always go in and see all the cats and stuff that they have for adoption, and it was crazy. There was disproportionately, like, I think there was probably like, I'm not exaggerating, I think 80% of the cats we saw were black. And I don't know, I don't think, usually there's a really good mix, but for some reason, I don't know if it was just like the black cats were on like the reproduction spree this year or whatever it was, but like there were tons of black kitties. There were 3 of them, little kittens that were like 2-3 months old, according to the piece of paper on the window, that were in there like meow, meow. One of them was loud too. So black cats are the last to be adopted? Really? Why? I love black cats. This guy's got some fur. Oh, I just pulled out a big chunk of fur. You need to get combed. My wife was combing the crazy crap out of him like last week. Now he's got, I can see his fur just kind of like fluffing out and falling. I don't know. I love black cats. If people think they're bad luck, they're morons, obviously. What's up, buddy? They usually have these beautiful yellow eyes too. Is it yellow? Is it yellow or green? What do you got, buddy? Yellow, orangish. He's adorable. A big boy. He's actually underweight a little bit, but he's pretty good. All right, we got to do Q&A, Twitch. You got cat hair all over my desk now. It's gonna be in my tea and everything. All right, so we need to do our patron shout outs before we get underway here. Twitch, you're just gonna get put down on the ground. You keep my other cats will like quasi behave, but he's just going crazy. All right, I gotta change my screen first, Twitch. All right, there we go. Okay, so patron shout outs. All these wonderful people you see on screen here help support the products that we create, my team and I create. Lair magazine obviously is our flagship product that my patrons will get every month. Oh, by the way, we just released Lair magazine is now on Foundry as well, so you can get the Adventures and Monsters on Foundry ready to go. It reduces your prep time like crazy light speeds, assuming you use Foundry, which if you're on Roll20, you might want to consider going to Foundry because it is so much better. I'm actually trying to transition. I told my Ancient Dragon Patreon players that I want to go to Foundry. They were all cool with it. The only thing is I need time to like learn how to use it a little bit better. Like I've done it as a player before, but never as a game master. And I want to be able to know how to use it a little bit better before I run a game in it. But probably what's going to happen is I'm just going to say screw it, and I'm going to do it, and it'll be a little bit rough, but I'll learn it as I go. Because I really have time to just go figure things out. I kind of just got to do it. Anyway, Foundry, Lair magazine is now on Foundry. It's really cool. You should check it out. And these wonderful patrons here, thank you very much for your support. It helps us to do what we do. And these folks right here get their names read out loud because they bribe me. These are our $25 and above patrons who get their names shouted out on screen. Twitch, you gotta let me click my buttons, buddy. You gotta let me click my buttons. All right, here we go. You're crazy. Adam B, Agile Monk, Alessandro N, Alex S, Alexander O, Alexis S, Amanda W, Ambers, Andrew P, Angelique K, Arsaka, Arutha, Ashley, Black Wolf. Ashley, by the way, was the one who said the camera made me look 10 pounds heavier. Isn't that right, Ashley? I know it's like, it's tired time for you because you work third shift, but you know, I don't look that much bigger on camera. Black Wolf 5, Bradley H, Brendan A, Brian O, Brian the Lion, Cat, Chad K, Christine B, Christopher G, Clay W, Colette H, Colin W, Contrary Gravy, Dazzled Up, David S, David W, Dean B, Derek E, Dominique S, Don D, Dungeon of Terra, Ed R, Dutch, I got those flipped around, Edward B, Edward L, and Frabo, and Dorian 72, Eric B, Flux, Flores Brew, Gamian, Gene A, Generic Throwaway, Goliath Clara, Greg P, Jaggery H, Guapo, JVTM, Harlan S, Hart Ungale, Helltong, HLD, Iron Cascade, It's Bailbon, Jackie Pizza, Jacob D, Jake L, Jacob K, James L, Jan F, Jennifer M, Jessica J, Jim B, Jim P, Joanne P, Joel J, John A, John P, John the Wicked, Jonathan F, Jonathan V, Jordan A, Joseph H, Joseph W, Josh M, Josh S, K, Keko No, woo, Killsaver K, Kirby, Crystal S, Curry Claw, Laura L, Lionheart, Linda, Matlock, Matthew C, Matthew G. I got 2 Matthew C's. Well, you know what's going to happen. Mighty, Loki, Mirostal, Mitchell, Mo20s, Moon, Mordakan, Mr. Owl, Nerd with Glasses, Nicholas S, Nearith, Old Man Mage, Panzax, Pancakes, Penguin Butt, Pathnick, Pivo, PN, Porkchop Bacon, Psycho John, Puppet Master, Quinn Themo, Randy B, Rebar, Renner C, Richard M, Rob W, Robert C, Robert J, Robin B, Rolf Combat, Russell L, Ryan Saul S, RW2, Sakura, Samuel M, Scott R, Shadow 1317, Shane L, Sheila A, Simfan 99, Snowbora Gaming, Son of a Sofa Man, Soul Naya, Stan the Man. Do I have 2 Soul Nayas? I thought I said that once already. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I got confused. Stan the Man, Stephen G, Stephen G's, 2 Stephen G's, but spelled differently. Uh-oh. Maybe the first one's Stefan. I can never tell. Stephen T, Steve L, Steve S, Sturm, Title Tokens, Terran, Terry V, the 3/4 Hospital, the Old Dion, the New Bed, Ombre, Thomas F, Timothy T, TK, Tom T, Travels the Lost, Trinity Series, Tyler R, Unalloyed, Undying Warlock, Victoria Q, Vinny, Vladimir S, Wesley K, William C, William D, XX Redrum, Yol R, Zachary J, Zombie Trami. Wee, this cat, he is gonna do this the whole time. I bet you he will not stop. There we go. Okay, cool. Woo! The Kitty of Death will not let you work. No, he won't. All right, questions. Answer questions now. Black cats are super sweet. I totally agree. All right, so throw in the questions you have in the chat and we will answer questions. What makes Foundry better? It's just, open it up and look at it. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at it. Guapo, big boy, relax. You gotta relax. You're gonna get put down. Oh, don't put me down. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, it's just like you open it up and you're like, wow, it just looks better. The interface is better. So Roll20 reminds me of like something developed in the 80s. It's probably got spaghetti code and crap, so they can't really, it's never been refactored, so they probably can't update anything in it, you know, which is why the updates are like painfully slow. You know, I mean, they sat on their industry dominance for forever and never did any updates. And now that there are actual challenges, they're like scrambling to do it, but they probably never refactors. Their code base is a mess and they can't figure it. And that's why it's like, so anyway, so Roll20, Foundry is like way better than Roll20. I'm opening it up for you. I'm going to show it to you. Twitch, you gotta calm it down, buddy. You're not getting in my face 10, 20 bajillion timers every day. All right, let's go to my monitor. All right, so this is Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I'm gonna pull up one of my test worlds here. So obviously you can see, hey, this looks like a modern interface. Oh wow. Okay, and you can click buttons and it does stuff. Look at that. Look how fast this is. You've never seen this in Roll20, and I'm joining the game. And here we go. All right, so this is actually one of our modules that's in Roll20, that's in Foundry, and I'm not a professional at this. Okay, so like, you know, let's do this, and I think I have an actor playtest. Here's my test player. Okay, cool. I'm gonna throw my test player on the map, and I'm gonna select him. So we got the dynamic lighting and stuff that's all set up, you know, which is really cool. Whoops, I rotated him. I want to zoom in. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, so dynamic lighting works, and it doesn't lag your system down. Open the door. Whoop. Dynamic lighting. Wee, I'm moving around. Wee. It's cool. This is one of our modules, and you can do a bunch of junk, you know. And then where are the monsters? Dwellers of the desert. Let's drag some monsters on here. Oh, there's monsters here. They're gonna attack you. Ah, they're going to kill you. Oops, I'm rotating my token again. I'm so used to pushing control mouse button to scroll in, but it's just the mouse button. All right, so we got our monsters here. You can open up, double click a monster. Here are all of the stats for it, you know, and then we can do rolls and crap. Like, where are the attack rolls? Oh, it's got to be here somewhere. Great club. Whoops, click that there. Do a, I gotta do an attack roll. How do I do the attack roll? There we go. I'm smart. Attack roll. Do it. This is 5th edition. This is the 5th edition version. We have both 5th edition and Pathfinder 2 versions. This is the 5th edition version, so let's just do a normal attack. There, I got a 10. Let's pretend that it actually hit, and then I can do a normal roll for damage. It's all right there. And it's got all the different crap that it can do, all listed in these stat blocks. So our modules are 100% self-contained. So the Foundry module has everything you need to run the game. You can literally pull up, if I go to my journal, where's my journal? Where's my journal? Journal, where's the journal, dude? There it is. I can pull up, I think this is the infiltration of Fort Curvor. So then you have the adventure overview that gives you the background and everything. You have all the plot hooks and stuff, the meeting with the plot quest giver person. Then you have, you know, traveling to the desert, traveling to court. You have all the little additional areas like the cooking space. It has the read aloud text. It has everything you need. So you can literally, and this pops out too, by the way. You can pop this crap out. I'm pretty sure this is a pop outable. Is this pop outable? Almost everything is pop outable in Foundry. I might not know how to do it properly. Sheet. What does that do? Default sheet. I don't know. But everything was pop outable for me. So I don't know. Maybe I don't have the right setting on. I don't know. I'm not an expert at Foundry. But anyway, you have all the information you need to actually run the quests and the adventures. Everything's here. You know, it's got dynamic lighting and all that good crap. So you're good to go. So anyway, this is Foundry. This is so much better than Roll20. And there's no lag. It's just amazing. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back. We'll go back to normal Q&A. So that's your quick tour of Foundry. I got cat hair in my mouth. Imagine that. Imagine that. At least he calmed down. Now he's just sitting here. Yes. You can. So Foundry. The other great thing about Foundry, it is a one-time $50 charge, and you have Foundry forever. There's no ongoing monthly thing that you have to pay for Foundry. You just buy it and you're done. Now you can host it yourself on your own local machine, and then your players will like essentially hook up to your machine as the host, and that'll work just fine. Experientially, I've found that tends to be lag when you're doing that because people are running through your machine as opposed to a server on the internet somewhere. But you can get hosting on Forge, and then the lag seems to go away. That's my experience. There's one game I play in that's hosted locally, and there tends to be some lag. I played in another game that was hosted on Forge, and there was like no lag. So I think that if you want to do the hosting, I don't know how much the hosting is on Forge. I think it's under $10 for sure. Under $10, maybe $5. It's somewhere around there. And it gets rid of the. And the other thing about hosting it on Forge is if it's hosted locally, you literally have to have your machine fired up and the game running for your players to like be able to like go in and mess with their character sheets and stuff. But my understanding is that on Forge, that's not the case because it's hosted on a server. They can log into the game and like look at their character sheets, level up and stuff like that when you're not there as the game master. That's my understanding. Again, I'm a novice at Foundry, so don't crucify me if I got some of those details wrong. Do I have an opinion on Shard Desktop? I've never seen it. Nope. Sorry, no opinion. I live under a rock. How much dialogue should I be preparing? I struggle to come up with convincing interactions on the fly. All right, so I'll answer that. That's a good question. I'm going to show you what I do for my games. I'm going to show you, I'll show you from our Foundry pack what I tend to do. And then I'll pull up my own notes to show you more. So there's like, what am I doing? I'm trying to push a button. There we go. I got the button. So if I pull up our adventure in Foundry here, and then I don't know if I can zoom in, make this bigger. It doesn't look like I can. At least I don't know how. And there were tons of add-ons you can get. Many of them are free, that can customize the crap out of Foundry to do tons of amazing things. One of my patrons, Mo20, was showing us at one of our patron hangouts. One of the things my patrons and I do once a month is we have these hangouts where we literally just get on Zoom and talk to each other. And he was walking us through tons of the crazy stuff that you can do in Foundry for add-ons and customization, and it was mind-bogglingly amazing. I'm not aware of any of that in Roll20. I'm just putting down Roll20 today. Well, they kind of deserve it. Anyway, so this is our adventure right here. Let's find what I tend to do for dialogue is I have role-playing notes. That's really all I do. I have role-playing notes that I make for dialogue. Because when I am role-playing an NPC in my games, I do not want to read dialogue to my players. I actually was at a convention this last weekend, and I saw a game master who was reading dialogue to their players, and I'm like, don't read the dialogue. I didn't say anything to them. That would not be, that would not be cool. But I was in my brain, I was like, don't read dialogue. Never read dialogue off a piece of paper. That, don't do that. You want to roleplay your NPC. You want the dialogue to be natural. You want it to be a back and forth. So it's called dialogue. Dia means two. Dialogue should be back and forth. Monologue is one person talking. So when you prepare dialogue and you write it word for word on a piece of paper, that's a monologue, and you read it to your players. I would never recommend doing that unless you could not at all improvise it and you froze up and wanted to bury yourself under rocks. Maybe then read it, because you gotta do what you gotta do to get it done. But I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend dialogue, because improvising the conversation back and forth, having an actual conversation with them. Now to do that, what you need is you need to understand your NPC. Whether it's a goblin or whether it's a blacksmith or whatever it happens to be, you need to understand your NPC. You have to understand what their motivations are. You have to understand what they want. Why are they there in that dungeon? What is their goal? The goblins are supposed to guard the entrance and not let anybody come in. That's their job, But they're also follow the boss, and they're supposed to do what the boss says. And they don't want the boss to get angry at them, because if the boss gets angry at them, goblins go squish. So if the players come in and they're like, "Yo, goblins, you let us through," the goblins are like, "No, you go nowhere." And the player characters are like, "Yeah, well, we work for your boss at the next dungeon over, and we are here to have a meeting with the boss. So if you don't let us through, the boss is going to hear about this and he's not going to be happy." And the goblins are going to be like, "Oh crap, that's kind of plausible, I guess. We're dumb goblins. What are we going to do?" And so it's possible the goblins are like, "Well, we don't want the boss mad at us because we go squish." And that's kind of possible. So, dice rolls and, deception, diplomacy, whatever you want. And then the goblins are like, "Okay, fine. Go talk to the boss." And then the players are like, "Yeah, but how do we get to the boss? We've never been here before." "Oh yeah, okay." Then they get directions. I don't know. So the thing is that when you know what your NPCs want, what their motivations are, what they're afraid of, what their goals in life are, what their immediate goals are, when you know these things, that helps you role play them. And so that's what I strive to do. Is I want to know what those things are for my NPCs, because then I can improvise a conversation and I can role play them, because I know what they want, what drives them, and what they're afraid of. And then no matter what the players say to me, I can come up with a response that is in the spirit of role playing, So that's more what I would recommend, because that's going to help you. You're going to be able to do it more naturally. It's going to feel more organic. It'll feel more immersive to your players when you role play your NPCs that way. And I'm not just talking about the talkie. I'm talking about role playing in general, right? Which is everything. But especially when we're talking about conversations and dialogues that are happening, you want to be able to do that naturally. You want to be able to improvise, and you want to be able to just have that conversation. We don't want to be reading off a piece of paper. You really want to avoid that, because that'll take the immersion just way down into the gutter. Um, keep coming with the questions. How can I combine telepathy plus command? Oh, we could probably look that up. How would you go about ruling a real life thing in D&D? My artificer player wants to make a water-powered jetpack with decanters of endless water. So they want to be able to fly. Okay, so they're trying to fly. So what I would probably do, I would look at the effect, what they're trying to achieve, right? And if they're trying to fly, that is, for 5th edition D&D, that's probably an ability that you're probably not going to get access to until, like, wizards at level 5 can cast fly. No, not level 5. What level can wizards cast fly at? Yeah, it's level 5. At level 5, they can cast fly. So flying becomes a thing in D&D 5th edition around level 5. So decanters of endless water are uncommon magic items, if I remember correctly, which means you can get them at like level 1 and crap, and it's not a big deal. So if they want to create an ability that allows them to fly, something that's usually not accessible until later in the game, then I think that game mechanic under the hood sort of information should inform your decision on how you allow that to be possible, you know? And there's nothing wrong with just having like a simple conversation with your players and saying, listen, you're trying to be creative. I understand you probably read it on Reddit or somewhere. Okay, so we're gonna put quotation marks around creative, but you're trying to create a backpack with decanters of endless water that propel you upward. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do here. First of all, let's think about this realistically. Decanters of endless water. When water gets shot out of that decanter, it's going to have a pressure jet. Now that pressure jet, it's going to lose its pressure pretty quickly. Like water sprayed out of a gun only maintains a certain amount of pressure for so long, and it's probably an inverse exponential curve as to the water pressure. So at the very beginning, there's a lot of pressure, and then it dies off, but it dies off faster and faster. Inverse exponential curve. Okay, to the water pressure, which means that even with a decanter of endless water, you're going to have really good water pressure for 10 or 15 feet, but then it's going to die off a lot. And so what we're going to say with the decanter of endless water, a couple of these things as a pressure jet, we're going to say that it can get you about 15 feet off the ground, and that's about it. Beyond that, the water pressure doesn't have enough water pressure to push you off the ground. That's the first thing. So you got about 15 feet of height. That's all you're going to get. The next thing is that if you're going to rig this into a backpack that gives you some semblance of control over it, well, that's going to take some time, and that's going to take crafting. We're talking weeks of crafting. We're talking research. We're talking experimentation, different configurations, different ways that you can actually get it to work. That's going to be some serious downtime and crafting in order for you to jimmy rig that and get that working. So you got a time component. And there's also a gold piece research cost to that time component, the experimentation, all the mishaps where the decanters blow up the jetpack and you got to reconstruct it and stuff. So the times that you crash and then have to have a medic nearby who's going to give you emergency healing before you die. So all of these things need to be considered into this experimentation time, right? Time, experimentation, and then ultimately what you're going to be able to do is you're going to have a jetpack that'll get you about 15 feet off the ground, and you'll have a little bit of control over where you are. Now, that said, you could get there, right? But let's also think logically about this. There's endless water squirting out. We're not talking about air. We're not talking about fire that burns and then dissipates. We're talking, well, it does burn up oxygen, I suppose. That might be a problem too. But anyway, water doesn't just go away. Water literally stays there. So if you got this backpack of water, you're filling places up. If you're outdoors, that's fine. But if you're inside a dungeon or a castle or something and you're using that, the water is getting all over the place and it's filling the area up. Now, this has natural ramifications. Let's think about this. First of all, if you're in an enclosed space, it's filling it up with water. Problem. If you're not in an enclosed space, water does what? It goes down. So it's gonna go downstairs. It's gonna fall off that balcony and create a waterfall. Shh. In other words, that water is gonna start finding its way throughout wherever you are. And people that are if you were in your home and water started to come down your stairs, you're gonna be like, holy crap, you're gonna go run toward, where is this water coming from? We have to stop it before we flood and die. So think of a dungeon, think of a castle. If water is now flowing throughout the entire place, the inhabitants are gonna start finding out where this water is coming from and running toward it. And so now you have dungeon inhabitants that are coming and trying to find out what's going on. So these are things that I would talk with your player about and make sure they understand that these are this is gonna be what happens. Like there is a reason you don't see backpacks, jetpacks of endless water in the world, because it's very impractical, very impractical. And so make sure your player is aware of that. You don't want to have that come as a surprise, because then it's going to feel like a GM screw job where you're just like, you did all this stuff to get a flying backpack of endless water, but now guess what? It alerts the entire dungeon no matter where you go. Like, you don't want to do that to your players, because they're just going to be like, what a jerk, man. I spent all that time, experimentation and gold, and I can get 15 feet off the ground, and now every time I use it in a dungeon, like, I have swarms of enemies coming down on us. This thing sucks. Which is why you tell that to them in advance, you know? Now, maybe they're like, all right, cool, we're gonna figure this out. Backpack, decanter of endless water, and there's like little cables that I have a dimensional portal here that goes into like the plane of fire or something, okay? And so then the water hits this and propels me up a little bit, but then it goes into the, I don't know, maybe they figure something out. But I think you think through it logically, and you're also trying, you're thinking through it logically, but you're also trying to mimic like game mechanics in a certain way. Like, if they can't fly until 5th level, then 2 uncommon magic items that just allow them to fly with no drawbacks at all, that's not reasonable. So that's kind of how I would approach that sort of thing. All right, so I should actually probably look at our Kickstarter, because we're here to walk in our Kickstarter. Where is my Kickstarter? I think I have it on the screen. Let's see where we're at. Let me pull this over here. Ooh, go over to the other screen. Where are we at? All right, we're at almost 342,000 right now. And the Kickstarter closes in about 2 hours. So if you want to get in on the Kickstarter, you can, there should be a link in the chat or something. If a moderator could throw a link in the chat to our Kickstarter, if you haven't backed it, you can go back it. It's pretty cool. You'll like it. I know I sound very enthusiastic. I should be a better marketer. I'd be like, it's the most amazing product in the world. It's actually really cool. My team and I make it, and we don't make garbage. If you want to back it, you can go. My guess is that a lot of people on the stream have already backed it, because yeah. Goliath says decanters of endless water do not produce enough water to generate enough thrust to lift a person, even a child. That's quite possible. I'd have to look it up. But yeah. What is your internet speed? I don't know. I have high-speed internet. Like, I have very fast upload speed. The download speed is stupid. It's way higher than I ever need it. I think my upload speed is 50 megabytes per second. It's not gigabytes. I think it's 50 megabytes per second. Because I stream and stuff, and I upload videos to YouTube and crap, I need to have a good upload speed. And my download speed is dumb. It's like 500 megabytes a second. It's a download speed you will never need in your entire lifetime. Unless like you have Netflix going in every single room all the time or something. But it's high enough that because of my job, what I do, you know. Somebody asked a question about I said we'd look it up, and then I didn't do it. Oh, we had a super chat too. I should probably answer the super chat. Where's my super chat? There we go. Cool. I got your super chat, Dice Goblin. I'm sorry. I was ignoring you. I went Beastmaster Ranger in Baldur's Gate 3. Cool. Now I can summon 2 familiars. Cool. Can I do it in D&D, or is it Liberty Larian took for gameplay? Can you summon 2 familiars? I don't know. We could probably look up the game rules on summoning familiars. I love this. Like, can you do this in D&D? I don't know. Let's see what the rules say. So this is called Find Familiar. Let's see what this says. Find Familiar. I'm looking it up literally right now. Stand by. You gain the service of a spirit. Independently drops to 0 hit points. Appears. You can't have more than 1 familiar at a time. That is in the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th paragraph, first sentence. You cannot have more than 1 familiar at a time. So the answer is no. That is not raw in D&D 5th edition. So Larian Studios did, indeed homebrew that, or whatever you want to call it. All right. Oh, somebody asked a question about telepathy plus command. Okay, can I combine telepathy plus command? All right. List Juju boy. Sorry, I messed your name up. Let's take a look at that. Again, we're going to go over here to, I'm going to look it up online. Let's go over to my stupid thing here. Okay, so we wanted to look at game rules. Come on, game rules. Look at the spells. Look at the stupid spells. Telepathy. Telepathy. You could go a little faster. Google has you beat so bad. I could probably find this faster if I searched on Google and then click the link. Telepathy is an 8th level spell. Wow, that's a big spell. Okay. You create a telepathic link between yourself and a willing creature. There you go. That first line right there is probably the answer to your question. Because most instances where you are gonna use command in the game is against an enemy. When you use command against a friend of yours, like another PC or something like that, like that's probably almost never going to come up. It says you create a telepathic link between yourself and a willing creature. So that's the first line is probably the answer to your question. I love how I can just look up this spell descriptions and get these answers. And then command. Let's look up this one. You speak a one-word command to a creature you can see within range. That is... Okay, so you gotta be able to see it within range. It makes us waving through, so... And then you got these commands. You speak it. You can see within range. The spell has no effect if the target is undead, or if it doesn't understand your language, or if your command is directly harmful to it. Doesn't understand your language. But you're using an 8th level spell, and it says... You share all these things. You instantly share words, images, sounds. It recognizes it. Enables a creature with an intelligence score of 1 to understand the meaning of your words and take it. Okay, so my ruling would be, if you are using an 8th level spell to cast this, then it would overcome this part about not understanding your language. And I would say that you still have to see the creature and they still have to be within range. But if it didn't understand your language, the telepathy would take care of that. But the telepathy of it being a willing creature still applies. It would need to be a willing creature. It's literally what telepathy says. So if you're going to cast telepathy on a willing creature and then issue it a command, like for instance, there probably is an edge case where this would be useful. Let's pretend that you are... Oh no, maybe it's useful. If one of your friends were going to go into a room where there is an enemy that can mind control you, then you could cast telepathy on your friend before they go into the room, and then if they get mind controlled, then you could use the command on them to tell them to like flee or something, or something. So I guess there's an edge case where you might use that, but this combination is not going to be usable against the majority of cases in the game. So super crazy edge case, and you're using an 8th level slot too to do that. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna find some more questions here. Let's go back out to our camera. How do I balance needing to describe to the players so they're not imagining a blank windowless room without bogging down the game with descriptions? You do 2 sentences. You literally do 2 sentences. All right, you guys walk into a room. Across the way, there's a window. There's a fireplace with a crackling fire inside of it. There's a table, and around the table are 3 creatures with big hands, and they look to be like they're playing a dice game. There you go. You're done. That's all you got to say. Give a few descriptions about the room so window, fireplace, fire, table, big creatures with big hands. What the heck is that? And they're playing dice. That's it. There you go. There's your description. So you didn't bog it down. It was very brief, but it gave your players some big details. Window, fireplace, table, dice, big-handed creatures. There you go. So that's what you do. You literally balance it. You minimize the amount of descriptive detail. Like, you don't want to be like, okay, so what you don't want to do is, all right. You open the door to the room, and across the way, you can see a finely crafted Victorian window with panes that have a latex between all of the panes, and there are little hooks as well that keep the windows closed. And you can see a locking mechanism as well on these windows. And then as you follow the trail of the wall, it comes to a corner, and you notice also that there's crown molding in this beautiful ornate style with curling engravings all along it. And then over across the way, you can see a fireplace made out of this most beautiful red brick with little green bits in the molding that holds the brick together. And there's this mantle atop this fireplace as well. Atop the mantle, there's a handful of small portraits describing, and then you describe in detail which each of the portraits has. And then below the mantle, you can see a crackling fire that is looking like it's glowing a little bit like the fire is going down, and it needs to have more wood added. Speaking of which, off to the side, you can see some beautiful stacks of wood with this white bark, absolutely immaculate, held in this holder that looks to be made out of gold, a golden wood log holder. And then there's this table, this beautiful mahogany table with these engraved legs that lead up to this tabletop that has geometric patterns along the edges of it, and seated in chairs, which, by the way, and you see what I'm doing here? Crazy amounts of stupid detail that is not immediately relevant, that your players are going to forget a lot of it, and their eyes are probably going to gloss over because it's just way too much detail. That's not the type of detail you're going to do in a normal game. Now, if I'm running a D&D show and I want to drop that much detail to like impress the audience, then okay, maybe, you know, but that's a show. In a normal game, you don't do that. You're just going to be very brief and succinct. I might say that you open the door to a room that is decorated in this amazing Victorian style, very well appointed, very elegant and lush, every bit of the furniture and whatnot. But you keep it brief, you know, you don't have to do these crazy details because it bogs the game down. So that's balance that you try to strike to have. Luke knows his molding. Hey, I know my molding. Oh, another super chat. Obed Cardin says, I have a player who keeps saying negative things about plot. Like, it's some dumb blank and who cares about that? He's my old DM. I'm newish. Okay, so it sounds like your old DM is being a turd. And you know what we do with turds? We flush them down the toilet. I mean, I'm not gonna tolerate a player who is pretty much blatantly, overtly putting down my game. Because if the person is criticizing the plot, that is a lack of respect, obviously, and I'm probably not gonna put up with that. I would wager a guess, I'm just spitballing here, but if I had an old DM who was criticizing my game to my face in front of the other players, they weren't offering it as constructive criticism, but they were literally just putting down my game to everybody constantly with little snide remarks like that, then I would not tolerate that. That is not cool. That person is acting like a turd. I could use other words to describe how they're acting, and I wouldn't tolerate that. I would talk with them privately. I would give them the consideration and the courtesy of talking with them privately and asking them to stop. And if they kept on doing it, then they'd probably get kicked out of the game. I wouldn't run the game with them. I'm not going to run a game with somebody who's constantly putting me down or putting another player down or creating a negative atmosphere. Like one of the things that defines a good player is that they contribute to the atmosphere of the game in a positive way. The game is better off because of their presence. That is probably like the overarching statement of what defines a good player. The game is better off because of their presence. And if that's not true because they're constantly deriding you and putting you down and saying snide things, then they're not a good player. And you got to start asking yourself, why do I have a bad player in my game? And what might my game be like if I didn't have that person there? How much better could my game be? How much happier would I be? How much more fun would I have? as the game master. And then if I'm having more fun as the game master, and if I'm happier and not constantly on edge because this dude's keep making these comments, then that's gonna probably make my game better, and my players are gonna have more fun. Like, you'd be amazed at how much better a game gets when you get rid of a turd. Obviously, I only have one side of the story here, so it's hard to offer advice and stuff when you only have one person telling you a thing. But based on what I know in your 2 sentences, that's my gut reaction. All right, you want to come up here, Squeaky? Come on. Come on. Squeaky's bothering me. Come on. Get up here, you big baby. Oh, he's a big boy. Now we have Squeaky up here bothering us. All right, there you go, buddy. All right, looking for questions. The other people are like, kick him out. Kick him out. I talk to people before I kick them out. Squeaky. I would not let someone cast telepathy spell on an opponent. I follow the rules. Like, if the spell listen, you guys, I give the game designers the benefit of the doubt. If an 8th level spell says it must be a willing creature, then there's probably a reason the game designers decided that it should be a willing creature. Because the moment it becomes an unwilling creature, like, I'm assuming bad stuff could happen, and players could come up with ways to abuse that and stuff. So I give, like, it's so much easier to just follow the rules. You know, like, if you have a rule system and you're playing 5th edition or you're playing Pathfinder 2, like, it's just easier to follow the rules. And that's my baseline for the games I run. As a general rule, I follow the rules, unless there's a really good reason not to, and the exceptions are few. But you can't just get up here and rub against the camera. Even Twitch wasn't rubbing against the camera. You big turd. I'm a big boy. You're a beach ball. My wife calls him a beach ball. Balón. What did she say? Balón de playa? Or pelota de playa? I think she says balón de playa. Yeah, my wife calls him a beach ball. Because he's so fat. Big round tub. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm not gonna make an exception to, like, oh, you want to use this super powerful spell in a way that's against the rules? Oh yeah, not a problem. No, because that could have grave game consequences that I can't even begin to fathom right now. And then you know what happens too? Squeaky's like, uh-oh, he's getting alarmed. Then what happens is the next time you have a spell that doesn't let you cast it except against a willing creature, or it has other requirements, your players are going to be like, well, can't you make an exception? Remember telepathy? You let us cast telepathy against enemies. Why can't you make an exception for this spell or that spell or the other spell? You're like opening up a big can of worms. It's like a vortex where it's like, well, we're going to start on the edge. We're skirting disaster. And then it's like, it just gets worse and worse until you're swirling down the hole. So no, I'm not going to do that. It's so much easier when you follow the rules and you're not making all these like house rules and home brews and opening up these cans of worms. Like, I don't do that, man. My life is easier when I just follow the rules. That's what the rules say. Sorry, guys. We're just going to follow the rules. It makes it easier for everybody when we just follow the rules. It just does. Yeah, sorry. And he rubbed my camera, too. He rubbed my camera. You just keep rubbing my cameras. There you go. I got a little worked up about that answer. Have you ever played high level PF2 past level 15? If yes, did you enjoy it? I haven't. No, I've only played PF2 around level, what did we do? We were low levels. It was like level 3 or something. I don't know. It wasn't super high. I don't think they've properly playtested the high level spells in the first place. No, if we're talking about 5th edition, of course they didn't. This is why the game breaks down after level 12. This is literally the reason that almost nobody plays 5th edition past level 12. Because the whole game breaks down. Like, the game designers were like, what levels of game, like they did their playtest questions and they're like, what levels of the game do you normally play? And most people play between levels like 3 and 10 or 3 and 12 or something. And they're like, oh, those are the levels that people enjoy playing. No, it's not necessarily the levels people enjoy playing. It's the only levels they can play because your game is broken outside of that range. So yes, they probably, the high level spells and stuff break things and they cause problems and there's no balance and the monsters aren't powerful enough. Everything starts to break down after level 12. It does, you know. Now, if you've been game mastering it for 10 years, you can figure things out and you can still run fun games at high levels. My Ancient Dragon players are level 17 right now, I think, and we're doing just fine. I throw crazy crap at them. I have to, and they still, the cleric will be like, heal, and everybody has full hit points again. We just had a combat for 5 rounds with this massive CR28 with minions that were no joke, beating the living crap out of you guys, and then the cleric's just like, yeah, heal. Everybody's got their hit points back. Well, what did we just do for the last 5 rounds? So yeah, there's crazy stuff that just makes you scratch your head, you know. So yeah. Anyway, and I've ran 5th edition. My Sword Coast Guard group, we went up to level, I think we stopped at level 17 or so because we wanted to play Curse of Strahd. So I cut the campaign. I usually run a campaign to level 20. It's my normal thing. We cut it off at level 17 or so, I think, because we wanted to play Curse of Strahd. And then my Hand of Light group, we went all the way up to level 20. All the way to level 20. And we ran a few adventures at level 20 as well. So if you have the experience of the Game Master, you can make it work. But you gotta know what you're doing a little bit to make 5th edition work at the higher levels. You just do. It is not a science. It is an art. The science is kind of like just dissolves into a mess at your feet. Which kind of dragon would be best in a small area? A dragon with a cone. I don't put dragons in small areas though. That's a bad design for a dragon fight. Dragons need open spaces to take advantage of all of their abilities. They need to, if you have a dragon that's just on the ground, what's gonna, like, their main abilities, their main advantages are taken away from them. So it should be a goal of players when they're trying to fight a dragon to get the dragon in a confined space. And it should be the goal of a dragon to never let themselves get trapped in a confined space. Now, dragons have lairs, but their lairs are big places. The ceilings are 80 feet tall or something, so they can fly up and get out of range and have their cone come down to maximum effect and get everybody. By the way, you ever think about that? The cone, if you spray a cone down from like 50 feet in the air, a 60-foot cone from 60 feet in the air has a 60-foot radius on the ground. 60-foot radius, 120 feet diameter. That's gonna hit everybody in that room. So like when I do a dragon fight, my dragons go up to the maximum extent of their cone breath weapon and then everybody. And then they're gonna stay up there flying and they're gonna cast spells. They're not gonna land on the ground and let the barbarian get next to them, let the fighter get next to them. No, dude, they're not gonna let people get next to them so that the rogue gets their sneak attack. Like, dragons are not dumb. Even if you take like a white dragon who is like arguably the stupidest type of dragon, they've been alive for a long time. They have enough wisdom to know that you do and don't do certain things. So dragons don't just sit there like chumps on the ground to get beat on. They gotta fly, they gotta keep their distance, they gotta breathe, you know, they gotta cast their spells. And I always give my dragons spells. Dragons always get spells they can cast. You know, and then they cast their spells from more than 60 feet away so they can't get counterspelled. Like, don't be dumb. Dragons are smart. They're wise. They've been around a long time, so you got to play them that way. You know, they make their lairs with lots of space. If you're a black dragon, your lair has murky water so that you can pop up from the water, shoot your electric, you know, lightning breath, and then pop back down so you're hidden again. And then they were like, where we got to go into the water? Or how are we going to even target him? We can't even find the dragon. And then there's underneath the water, there are tunnels that lead to different parts of the lair in the water. So that black dragon can be like, pop up over here. You know, that black dragon can like pop up, grab the wizard, drag him underneath the water, and then try to drown and kill the wizard all by himself. And then the barbarian and the fighter are like, crap, are we going to jump in after him?
holy crap balls, like this is what dragons do. They murderize you. They're not just like, sit on the ground and kill me, please. I am a CR25. I'm here to give you experience points and a bunch of loot. Have a nice day. That's not what dragons do, right? Hi Luke, how would you go about converting a 5th edition adventure into Pathfinder 2? Well, funny you should ask. We literally do this every single month. We publish all of our Lair magazine resources are for 5th edition and for Pathfinder 2, and we literally convert them every month. Goliath Cleric, who is in chat, does most, if not all, of our conversions. Essentially, it boils down to the first step is probably to find monster substitutions. So you want to go through your 5th edition adventure and you want to determine, let's look at all my encounters in my 5th edition adventure. Let's pretend that I have an easy encounter, a medium encounter, and then there's a bunch of mediums, there's a hard, and then there's like a deadly encounter. So then for Pathfinder 2, I want to say, okay, I want to more or less let's pretend that I want to match those difficulties. So for Pathfinder 2, let's say that I want to have a couple trivials, and I want to have a couple lows, and then I want to have a moderate, and then I want to have an extreme or a severe. A severe or extreme is kind of crazy. Let's just call it a severe. Let's say that we want to have a severe for our boss fight. Let's pretend. But most of them are trivial and low, and maybe one moderate, and then there's one severe. So the first thing you want to do is you want to determine like the level of difficulty for the different encounters that you want to craft for your Pathfinder 2 game. And then what you need to do, once you know the difficulty you're aiming for and the level of the players, obviously, then you need to find the correct monsters to use. And you're going to have to find substitutes for the 5th edition monsters for Pathfinder 2 monsters. And you can't just go by CR. It doesn't work that way. You can't be like, this is a CR 5 in 5th edition, so let me find a creature 5 for Pathfinder 2. It doesn't work that way. They're different systems, totally different math. One uses bounded accuracy, the other does not use bounded accuracy, like totally different. You can't do that. So then we got to find the proper monsters that I'm going to use. And you have to pick your monsters out, and you have to create your encounters so that you're hitting trivial, you're hitting low, you're hitting moderate. And they might be totally different monsters. You'll try to find ones that are thematically the same, but you might have to just pick different monster stat blocks and just describe them as the monster you're trying to replicate. So flavor-wise, it's that monster, but you're using a different stat block because Pathfinder 2 math is totally different. So you craft your encounters, right? To hit your difficulties for the encounters. Once you have that done, that will get the difficulties for our encounters more or less set up. And we don't really have to worry about adventuring day stuff for Pathfinder 2. That makes it a little bit easier for us. We can just kind of get the difficulties we want and call it a day. My recommendation for you is that if you are converting an adventure from 5th edition that uses the adventuring day, because not all adventures in 5th edition use the adventuring day mechanic. I know it's part of the rules, and I know the game designers put it in there, but if you look at a lot of these professionally published adventures for 5th edition, they don't even use the adventuring day mechanics. So I don't know why they make these things and never use them. But if what we publish uses the adventuring day mechanic, by the way, if the adventure you're converting, let's assume that it follows the adventuring day mechanic, and you're converting to Pathfinder 2, then my recommendation for you is if you want your players to be able to run that Pathfinder 2 adventure without having to like leave the dungeon and do like lots of downtime resting stuff to get resources back, then what you can essentially do is, and this is information I had Mark Seifter on stream a couple months ago, 3 months ago, and I was literally asking him this exactly how I can do this, because this is one of my frustrations when I was running my Pathfinder 2 games. And the answer is basically that a moderate or a severe encounter in Pathfinder 2 is going to take some resources. It's going to be a hard encounter, especially if it's severe. Extreme is crazy. Let's just not talk about extreme today. So severe or moderate. So if you craft your adventuring day, around the idea of having almost as many trivial and low encounters as you want. Trivial and low usually don't deplete a whole lot of resources, unless players are being, they're just throwing away spells and stuff for kicks. Trivial and low, you can mostly have almost as many as you want, and you're not going to run into a problem as far as resource depletion, generally speaking. Moderate is going to deplete resources. Severe will really deplete resources. So if you have mostly as many trivial or low as you want, and then just have one moderate or one severe, or maybe a moderate and a severe, then you can mostly fit within that idea of the adventuring day and not having them to, they don't have to leave in full rest and stuff like that. So as many trivial and many as low as you want, roughly one moderate, one severe maximum. And then if you even want to get safer, you can just cut out the moderate and have one severe, or cut out the severe and have one moderate, and that could be your boss fight. And then you're more or less ensured that you're sticking within the idea of an adventuring day per the 5th edition thing as you're porting it over to Pathfinder 2, even though that mechanic doesn't really exist in the game system. So that kind of gets you there as far as like, you know, planning out the difficulties of your encounters. At that point, all you're doing is you're converting the difficulty class of everything, which again, in 5th edition, it's bounded within a certain range. Pathfinder 2 doesn't have those ranges. It just progresses, you know, I think it's a linear progression. It would be a linear progression because, yeah, it's mostly a linear progression. There might be a curve to it. I don't know offhand. So the difficulty classes are going to be different. So you're going to have to convert those a little bit. So if you're at 10th level in D&D 5e, the difficulty class might be at 18, let's say. In Pathfinder 2, at 10th level, an 18 is going to be pretty easy. So if you might want to make that higher, and there's literally tables in Pathfinder 2 rules that will help you determine the DCs. So I'm not going to talk about that. You can just look them up as you're converting it. So then you convert DCs, and once you have the difficulty classes and stuff changed, and obviously, like, you know, persuasion doesn't exist in Pathfinder 2. It's diplomacy, and you don't have investigation. It's just perception in Pathfinder 2. So there are some things you got to convert over, you know, to the new system. But those are the big things. Those are the big things when you're doing the conversion. Wait, dragons don't have spells by default? No, they don't. It's stupid. In 5th edition, like, some of them might, but for the most part, they don't have spells. It's like an optional thing. It might be in the monster manual as like a sidebar, but they don't just get spells, which is kind of dumb. Have you played solo D&D? On my computer? Yeah. I played Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2. I've played Icewind Dale 1 and 2. What else have I played? I got a bunch of games over there. I mean, Diablo's not really D&D, but it's solo play. So I played lots of solo D&D on my computer. Yeah. I played a board game once. I played one of those D&D board games by myself once. I was at a convention and I didn't have a game, and I didn't have any friends or anything there. So I was literally sitting at a convention. I just got one of those board games and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to play this. And I learned how to play it, and I played a game by myself. So that's the solo D&D that I've played. Dude, I loved the Icewind Dale games. I literally still have them. I have them over there in my cabinet. Those Icewind Dale games were beautiful. I love those things. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I don't know. I think if you ask any normal people, they'd probably tell you that they enjoyed Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 more than the Icewind Dale series, but I liked Icewind Dale more than Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I just did. I can't explain it to you. I think part of it was that I like to make my own party, and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, it forces you to get the pre-made NPCs, which I don't like. I never have liked them. And so I would always like hack my game save files so that I could create my own party. And that was always more fun to me. But in Icewind Dale, it's default, you create your own party. I've always enjoyed creating my own parties. It's just more fun to me. How do you plan difficult boss fight at level 1 without killing the players in our first session? That's challenging. You kind of can't. The only way to make it difficult is you want to have several creatures. But the moment that you have a big boss at level 1 is the moment that they do enough damage to just kill a character in one blow. And so there's just so much danger territory, and your ability to heal and recover and stuff. It's so unforgiving at low levels. So it's really hard to have good boss fight. What I would consider to be a good boss fight because the moment that you have a true threat, they're not just a threat, they're like a deadly threat. So I would focus, instead of focusing on like a really powerful enemy, I would probably focus more on the environment and other mechanics, as opposed to just a strong monster. Do other things that make it feel cool. You know, like you're fighting in like a room with pit traps that keep opening up, or there's, you know, I don't know. I have a couple of videos on my channel that talk about how to create a perfect boss fight. They go over lots of different things you can do, but I would be careful not, like, you could theoretically say that an ogre, which is a CR2, is okay to put against a group of level 1s because technically it's only like a hard or something, but that ogre is going to kill a character every single round, just down, 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 and it's going to be a death spiral. So it's a challenging thing to do. There's a reason that lots of groups don't start at level 1 and 2. They go right to 3. You know, it's just a thing. What are your thoughts on overly long backstories? Personally, love long ones to really get to know my characters. Longest one extends to about 20 pages of mostly thoughts of the character. So I don't. If you as a player want to write a super long backstory, I ask 2 things of you. I ask 3 things of you. Number 1, if I have any players that are like, Luke, I am going to write a really long backstory. Is that okay? I'm going to tell them yes, under 3 conditions. 1, the super long backstory is for you to inform your role playing. Okay. 2, you give me the abridged version. Give me a 1-page handout that summarizes it. Cool. And number 3, be aware that you might die. And you need to be okay with that. Because if you write a 20-page backstory and think that that somehow gives you plot armor or immunity to bad things happening to your character in the game, you are misinformed and you are acting on erroneous information. And that could lead to a very big letdown, and you might feel really, really, really bad because your character might die at level 2. And you're like, but I wrote 20 pages of backstory. I know. But I painted my own mini. I know. But this is the game, and character death is a thing. So my preface would be, as long as you're okay with your character dying after 20 pages of backstory, then feel free to write it. But when bad things happen and you're like, but Luke, my 20-page backstory, I'm gonna be like, dude, this is the game. I'm not gonna just like set aside the reality of the game and the world that you're in and the fact that an ogre just smashed your head in because you have 20 pages of backstory. Like, I have 43 years of backstory, but anything could happen to me at any moment. A tree could fall on my house and I could die. Somebody could break in through my door and just shoot me up. Like, my 43 years of backstory don't give me plot armor. I'm just as easy to die as anybody else. That's real world, So I think under those 3 conditions, no problem. The backstory primarily serves the player to help them roleplay their character and inform their character. And obviously the game master can use it and pull things out of there for their game and stuff. But I would do your game master the courtesy of giving them the cliff notes on a 1-page handout so they don't have to read 20 pages. Those 20 pages are for you. All right, let's take a peek at our Kickstarter and see where we are. Gotta refresh this page. Oh, you know what? We're doing a giveaway today too. I didn't even mention the giveaway. We're giving away a copy of Into the Fae. Level 1 to 5 adventure module for 5th edition. It's really cool. I wrote it. Fae creatures, which is fun. And starting in January, I will be writing the sequel to Into the Fae. So we wrote Into the Fae in 2020, 2021, or something like that. And then this year, actually starting this month, because our production timeline is like months in advance of when things get published, this month I'm starting to write the sequel to Into the Fae. It's called Escape from the Fae. And that will start going out to our patrons starting in January of 2023. And then in 2024, no, it's 2023 already. So in January 2024, it'll start going out to our patrons. And then in 25, we'll compile it into a book and make it like a nice Kickstarter. So you can get the entire campaign as a book to run. It'll take you from, Escape from the Fae is going to go from levels 5 to 12. I think. I got all my notes, just it doesn't stick up here very well. My wife is making bread. I can hear her pushing the buttons on the bread maker upstairs. So we're going to have bread at some point today. So anyway, there's a giveaway. There should be a link in the chat where you can join the giveaway. Hopefully somewhere. You might have to scroll up a little bit. Where is the stupid giveaway, man? Hold on a second. I think I'm going to have to go in here. Giveaway. Let's see if Stream Elements works for me. There you go. Where is it? Okay, there you go. There's the link. I just put it in there for you. If you want to go get on the giveaway. And you can, we'll draw the winner through the live stream. They'll get Into the Fae, a signed copy of Into the Fae from our first print run, which is kind of cool. You can see how our books began before we learned what we were doing. What were we going to do too? Oh, we were going to look at the Kickstarter. That's right. I got distracted. Where are we at? All right, we're at 344,000. Ooh. All right, so we're at 344,000 on our Kickstarter. Our stretch goal, the stretch goal that we're gunning for, it's all the way down here. Ooh, wee, woo, all the way to the bottom. Where are our stretch goals? There we are. So our next stretch goal is at 350K, we get a signed book plate. That means that I am going to have to sign probably around 3,000 book plates. If you want to make me suffer, help us to get the 350K, because then I'm going to sign 3,000 book plates. Do you have any idea how crazy 3,000 signatures? I can't even fathom it. I was thinking about that today. I was like, how much would it be to sign 100 times? A lot. Now you have to do that 30 times. Oh my word. I don't even know how. Oh my gosh. I gotta like hire someone who can forge. I told my wife about this yesterday. I told my wife, like, if we hit this stretch goal, we're going to have to sign it 3,000 times. And she's like, get a stamp. Just get a stamp. And I'm like, that wouldn't be right. Like, if I told them they'd get signed book plates, it should be like my actual signature. And she's like, ah. So. He's stepping on the keyboard too, which is probably not going to have good consequences. Luke is about to be the new Brandon Sanderson. Did he have to do that too? Did he have like thousands? I know he did a Kickstarter that killed it. This was like over a year ago, I think. He was like, I have a secret to share with you. And then he just started pulling out books. I wrote a book. And then I wrote another book. And he pulled out like 5 manuscripts, and he's like, I've been keeping secrets from you. I've written 5 books when you weren't watching. And then he did a Kickstarter on that, and he did really well. That was really cool. I love Brandon Sanderson, by the way. So the only books I've read by Sanderson are when he took over the Wheel of Time series and he finished out the books, and he did that masterfully. I loved how he finished out the Wheel of Time books. Like, oh my word, it was master genius. I have so many gripes about Wheel of Time and how there's essentially 800 pages of nothing happening followed by 200 pages of like tense action. And when Sanderson did Wheel of Time, like, stuff happened. You had action throughout the book. It was masterfully done. It wasn't 800 pages of fluff followed by 200 pages of actual stuff you care about. It was like the entire book was good. And so if Sanderson can go back and redo the first 12 or whatever it was, that would be awesome, but he's not going to do that. Anyway, but I need to read some of his books that he's just written, because, geez, man, after seeing how he did Wheel of Time, it was like, he's like, so right now I'm finishing up the Dragonlance original trilogy, and once I finish that, I was thinking about this last night, actually, as I was reading, because I'm pretty close to finishing the Dragonlance trilogy, the original, the very first one, and I think once I finish that, I was like, I need to get some new books. And I literally was thinking I could reread the Wheel of Time. I've read the Wheel of Time series twice now. I was like, I could reread that. That's a possibility. Or I could read new books. And I'm like, I should read new books. And so I think that I was like, I should read something from Sanderson. That would be a pretty good The Mistborn? Okay, hold on a second. Let me use my keyboard. Let me use my stuff here, all right? You have all of that part of the desk. You have all of that part of the desk. This is my... I'm giving you 2/3 of the desk. I get 1/3. I want this 1/3 right here. Okay? All right. What was I gonna do? Oh, we're gonna go to Amazon and I'm gonna look up the Mistborn series. I should look at that. Add this to my like wish list or something. That's seriously. Mistborn. Mistborn trilogy? Is it the Mistborn trilogy? Is that what people are saying? Mistborn box set. The Well of Ascension. Hero of Ages. Is that the one I'm supposed to be looking at, guys? Hold on. Is this the right one? I'm gonna post it in chat. Is this the right one? Is this the one you guys are telling me to get? Mistborn box set, Well of Ascension, Hero of Ages. It looks like it. Mass. What's the difference between mass paperback and paperback? I want the one that's better quality. The paperback costs more, so that must be better quality, right? I don't want cheap garbage. Who knows? Is that the difference between paperback and mass paperback? Mass market paperback? I don't think that's the one I want. I mean, just judging on the price, that's got to be the way it works. It's $38. And it's got all 3 books in it, I guess. Hardcover then? Is it hardcover? It just says paperback. It's not hardcover. I think this is the one. So if I want to start reading Sanderson, is this the one for me to start with? The Mistborn trilogy? Yeah, we got a black cat now. Mass paperback is the airport book level. Oh yeah, I don't get that crap. I would jump straight to Way of Kings, the Stormlight Archive. Really? So that's another one? Then after Mistborn hits the Stormlight Archive series. So you're saying I should read the Mistborn trilogy first? Is it just a trilogy or does it keep going? Because sometimes they like make trilogies, but then it just keeps on going and it's kind of like R.A. Salvatore. I love R.A. Salvatore's stuff, but he did his like they call them the Drizzt books, right? But the ones he did for Forgotten Realms, like there are trilogies, but then there's a second trilogy and a third trilogy, and then there are just standalone long books. They just keep going. They never stop. They never stop. Okay, there are more books that are separate stories, so it just keeps on going. Okay, all right. I have other people saying the Stormlight Archive is good too. But it's a trilogy. How big is each book in the trilogy? So if I start with the Mistborn trilogy, how big is each book? Now, when I think fantasy books, I'm usually thinking 800 to 1,000 pages. But sometimes they make fantasy books that are not that long. What are we talking about with Sanderson's Mistborn trilogy? Are we talking 800 to 1,000 pages, or are we talking like not that long? It's 400 to 600? Yeah, so I can knock those out a lot quicker. Now, someone says it's 3 times 1,000 pages. I mean, I'm used to reading Martin and Robert Jordan, who have like 1,000-page books. So I'm accustomed to that. The Stormlight Archive is like a trilogy. Each book is a trilogy itself. So the first 3 books is like reading 9 books. Wow. Okay, so Freight Train says he has the books in front of him. They're about 800 pages. Okay, that's a big read then. All right, so I have the Mistborn trilogy as an option. So I'll add that to my cart. It's only $38 for 3 big, huge books. Woo! All right, and then I'm gonna go. So I added the Mistborn trilogy, and then I'm gonna. The other one was the Stormlight. Was it Stormlight Archive? Stormlight Archive. Stormlight Archive. There's a box set. Books 1 through 3. Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer. There's only a mass market paperback. I don't want the mass market paperback. I want like the nice ones. Is that the one I want? Here, I'm gonna. Is this? Hold on, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna copy this into chat again, and you guys can tell me if this is what I want. So this is the one I'm looking at right now. For the Stormlight Archive, is that the right one that I should get? Oh, I can get nicer ones on his site. Brandon Sanderson. What is his site? www.brandonsanderson.com. Imagine that. So I can order them from his site and get nicer ones. Start here. Start here. I want to shop. I want to shop. Ooh, he got alt covers too. All published leatherbounds bundle, $850. I wonder if my wife would buy me that. Where is, okay, let's help me find what I'm looking for. So I'm on his site. It actually pushed me over to Dragonsteel Books, which I presume must be his publishing partner or his distribution partner. So I'm assuming the secret novels. See, if I go to shop, it takes me to dragonsteelbooks.com, which is the fulfillment distribution partner or something, I don't know. But then I can't find the books, and they're not here. Where did you put the stupid books? Printed books. Okay, here we go. There we go. And I'm looking for the Mistborn ones. Oh, it's just got all of those super. I don't want to spend $100 on a book. That's not what I'm looking for. So that's probably not what I'm looking for. I just want to get. I want nice books, but I don't want to spend $100 a book. That's not a good bang for my buck. Not for books that I've never read before. I might not like them. Who knows? So that's not going to work. We're just going to go back to Amazon. Sanderson's not an Amazon fan. He took his audiobooks off Audible. I saw his video about taking off Audible. I saw that. That's his publishing distribution. That's why I got it. Oh, okay. The Secret Novels is the 4 books he wrote during COVID. Yeah. The secret novels. I'm keeping secrets from you. All right, so we got the Stormlight Archive. So I will add those. Except that I don't want this mass market paperback. Is the only thing. The Way of Kings is the first one. All right. I want the paperback. Oh, wait a second. The paperbacks are bigger? Are the normal paperbacks like the size is bigger on them? Are they thinner but with more words per page? Or is the type bigger? Because if the books are bigger with bigger type, I don't know if I want that because that takes up more space on my shelves. Good gravy. I don't read ebooks. I can't do e-readers. I don't do that crap. I gotta have the physical book. Maybe I do want mass market paperback. I'm gonna have to look at the difference between those things. I'm gonna add that to my cart. If I have something sitting in my cart, it reminds me that I wanted to get it. Otherwise, I'll forget about it. All right. We're done with that. Change the topic on that. What am I doing? We need to do Let's do a cat strike. Let's do a cat strike. We haven't done one of those in a while. I need to go bio too. I love how the stream went from Q&A to books. Yeah, we got distracted. All right, Squeaky. All right, we are giving the cats cat treats. My dog just got really excited and she smoked her head on my chair. Zoe, relax. Relax. Let's see if I get any cats down here. My dog's getting excited. I have one cat. We have one cat, Squeaky. No other cats. Squeaky is the only one. The other ones are probably all relaxing. It's not food. Zoe, relax. She is freaking out down there. All right, Squeaky, let's go. I gotta take my dog outside. All right, you can watch Squeaky. That's the wrong camera. You were already on the right camera. All right, you watch Squeaky. I gotta take my dog out. She's going nuts down here. Come here. Come here. Oh my gosh, she's flipping out. Zoe, relax. Relax. Cat left. All right, I gotta go bio. I'm gonna play a video for you.
Looking to master the art of running a role-playing game? Look no further than the secret art of game mastery. Now available on Kickstarter. Whether you're a new game master looking to learn the ropes quickly, or a veteran seeking new tips and tricks to elevate your game, this guide has got you covered. Say goodbye to feeling overwhelmed by the ins and outs of RPGs, and say hello to becoming a confident and skilled game master. In the secret art of game mastery, the DM Lair team has distilled over 100 years of real-time game master experience into one easy-to-use book, with advice on planning sessions, engaging your players, making combat more fun, and more. The secret art of game mastery will become an indispensable tool in your GM toolkit. Furthermore, the two companion books, The Secret Art of Preparation and The Secret Art of Note-Taking, offer guidance and templates as you craft your campaign and adventures, making it easier than ever to capture important notes and plan future plot points for your games. Level up your game in any system or genre with The Secret Art of Game Mastery. Click the link on the screen to back the project now.
Guys, my dog is going crazy down here. Look at this. My dog is like, I can't reach it. Give me the food. Give me the food. I'm gonna give her some dog food too, like some nice snacks. She has these Sizzler bacon things that she likes. We're out of them. Those are gone. She found them. There we go. I'm gonna get some tea. She is a happy dog. Some of my favorite tea is cranberry hibiscus. Cranberry hibiscus. This stuff right here. This is some of my favorite tea. It's so good. The little guy's like, I found food. I found food in the box. All right, let's get back to Q&A. People were asking questions and I was probably ignoring you because we were talking about books. So we're gonna try to get to the Q&A stuff again. You can spam, you can like, post it again if you need to. There's one she missed. Can you see the snack that she missed? I wonder if she's gonna find it. My dog is blind, she can't see anything. So that's why she's just like, she's like a little piggy looking for food. Zoe! Zoe! Look, 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 right here. Slow down. There you go. She got it. It's gone. Look at her go. Oh, I have another camera. I have this camera too. She's just looking for it. I can't find it. I can't find it. I can't find it. Have you seen the beta stuff from Wizards of the Coast yet? No, I don't pay attention to Wizards of the Coast stuff really. No, they lost me. I don't pay attention to their stuff anymore. You want to know what I am paying attention to? Let me show you something that I'm really excited about. All right, this is my new thing. This is my new thing. All right, baby. This is my new book I got when I was at convention this last weekend. I was at Grand Con. Dungeon Crawl Classics. Right there, baby. I tried to buy this book at GaryCon in March of this year. I think it was March. But they had sold out. They had sold out of all their books, and I didn't get one. And so I was at Grand Con, and I saw it. This is like one of the alt covers. There were only 2 of them at the con, so I was like, I'm getting one of those. And I got this thing. And I also got one of their adventure packs that has a bunch. It has one of their funnels, level 0 funnels, and then a bunch of adventures in it. So I started reading this a few days ago, and I am really liking what I see. It feels like kind of this old school feel to it, but modernized a little bit. It didn't feel like it was like crazy clunky or whatever I've read so far. It has this vibe to it, this really cool vibe of this old school vibe of you are an adventurer, but like the world is dangerous. Dungeon delving is dangerous. And it just really, I don't know, I can't even describe it to you. I don't have words for it. And the artwork is just, it's got this like old school type of artwork. Let me find it. Let me see if I can find an example for you. Like this old school type of artwork that just reinforces that vibe. Let's see if I can find some good examples. I was looking at it. I mean, I saw it. Let me go back to the part. Okay, here we go. Here's an example. I was reading about the cleric today. It's just full of this like old school artwork that I thought is really cool. This black and white old school artwork that kind of reinforced the vibe of the game system. So I don't know. I'm only like, how many pages in am I? I'm on page 30. Okay, it's gonna take me a while. I have limited time. But so far, what I'm reading about Dungeon Crawl Classics has me excited. It has me excited. So at some point, I'll have to play that with my friends. We're doing Pathfinder 2 right now, and well, here's the thing though, Miss Succubus, you say this is a chunky boy. This right here is the player's handbook. It is the Game Master Guide, and it is the Monster Manual. They have all three of them into one book. So you say it's chunky, but it's not that bad. It's 500 pages, and it has all of those in that book. So think of it this way. Instead of having to, have 3 books that you carry around, you just got 1 book you got to carry around. So it makes your life a little easier. So right now we're in PF2, and like I'm just kind of thinking, well, I'm like, part of reading a new game system and getting excited about it is you immediately start thinking, when am I going to be able to play this game system? When am I going to be able to play this? So I'm like, well, how long is our PF2 campaign going to last? Probably a year or 2 more. Can I wait a year or 2 to play PF2 or to play Dungeon Crawl Classics? Or am I going to have to figure out a way I can play it before then? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that, but I was getting excited about it. So yeah. Wizards of the Coast lost me in December, and now I'm looking at other things. So they can sit on a parking cone as far as I care. Let's keep going. I like 5th edition, don't get me wrong. I like the game system, but I'm not a fan of the company anymore. They screwed that pooch. It looks like it's way, well, here's the thing. You want to know why it seems like it's way more? Because it's a quality print job. Like, you're used to Wizards of the Coast and their cheap books, their thin pages and their crappy binding. This here, the pages are 115 or 120 GSM. Like, these are thick pages. They're not 95 because Paizo uses 95 GSM. And let me try one of theirs. No, that's a 95. So Goodman Games uses more than a 95 GSM. This is 115 or 128 GSM. Pretty sure. Pretty stinking sure. Which, okay, translation, thick pages. Quality thick pages. That's the translation. Wizards of the Coast uses like thin, crummy pages. In their books, and their binding is horrible. Here's the other thing about Dungeon Crawl Classics, published by Goodman Games. Look at the binding. You can't see it because of the bookmarks. Let me fix that for you. You have sewn binding, 16-page groups sewn together and then thrown in with glue. It's not the garbage, cheap glue-bound binding you find from Wizards of the Coast. This is quality binding. This was like literally when I was looking at this book, it was the first thing that my wife's making a bunch of noise upstairs. It was literally the first thing. Like, well, I went up to the booth and I was looking at their books, and like this is what the guy saw me doing. I picked up the book and I was like this. This is the first thing I was doing. I looked at the binding, and then I opened the book up. Like when I inspect books, that's the first thing I look at. Let's see about your binding quality. Let's see if you got So anyway, it looks thick because those are thick pages, very thick pages. And the cover thickness, you got a very thick cover too. It's the cover is thicker than Paizo's covers. I don't know what thickness Paizo uses on their covers, but these are thick covers too. So you got some hardcore quality books. The Dungeon Crawl Classics. The book I have is crazy hardcore. It's good quality. Boy, he thick. The binding fell off your copy in 4 sessions. Oh, I wonder what you got. You might have. They do have a paperback. So one of their books that they had was the cheap. It was $10 at the convention. It was like a thin paper back, and that might have been just that glue binding. So you probably didn't. I'm guessing you might not have had like the quality book, because this book's not going to fall apart in 4 sessions. This feels to me like a book that's going to last forever. But they do have a really cheap version that I didn't get. Like when I went up to the booth, there was the corner display was like had a big sign, $10 DCC books, and I looked at the books and they were $10 books, and the guy was like, oh yeah, you can get it for $10, and I immediately was like, I don't want the $10 book, I want the good book. And then I got the good book with the alt cover basically. They actually had like 3 different covers. I got the one that I thought looked the coolest. All right. Can you meet Mrs. DM Lair? No. We intentionally do not reveal Mrs. DM Lair. I keep my private life private. I am the one that is on TV. My family stays behind the screens. Is the puppy looking for a toilet? I hope not, Barking Cricket. I just took her outside. Zozo, relax, Zozo. All right, let's get some more questions going on. One of my players wants to change his PC. I have a lot of content and plots prepared that only his PC would understand lore rise. I don't want to scrap that. How would I handle that? Too bad. Suck it up, Buttercup. As long as my general rule, if a player wants to change their character, they're welcome to do so, with one exception. Sometimes you get a player who wants to change their character every game session. I found this cool new build on Reddit. I want to try it out. No, that's too disruptive to gameplay. You're not changing a new character every game session just because you're a freaking theory builder fiend and you want to try everything out. That's not happening. Sorry, no, come again. So if you have that player, then the answer is like, no, you need to calm down over there. We're not doing that. But most players are not like that. I've only had one player ever that was like that. My other players are not doing that. So for any other player, if a player comes to me and is like, Luke, I'm not enjoying my PC, I'd like to change it, you change it. That's not a problem. Create it at the exact same level. We'll get you put in as soon as you got it ready. Good to go. I have no problems with that. So if you have a bunch of stuff based on their character tied into the game and stuff, then I would say cut it out and get rid of it and change it. You know, it's like, I mean, yes, it's more work for you. I understand that. I get it. You put thought and time and effort into doing all that. I totally understand it. I do, right? I do that sort of thing as a game master as well. But what we're talking about here, the alternative is what? Telling our player that I understand you're not enjoying your current PC, but I, as the game master, have done tons of work. So you have to just suck it up and play for the next like year or so until we get through all your lore. I'm not going to tell my player to suffer just because I put a bunch of work into the game. You know, there's like not for something like changing out their character, you know? So like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Do I put stuff based on backstories and stuff into the game? Yeah, occasionally I do. I don't do a ton of it, but I do it from time to time. And if threads get cut off because a character dies, like, what are you going to do as a game master if the character dies? You just going to give them plot armor because you have stuff planned for them? No, man, it's a game. If they die, they die. So you have the same issue, right? You got to be able to let go. You got to let go of that stuff. Otherwise, you get yourself into like loops and problems where it's like, well, you can't die because I have stuff planned for you. And you can't change your character because I have stuff planned for you. Like, where's the agency? Where's the agency in the game if, like, as the game master, I'm determining, like, I have all of this stuff planned for you, therefore you can't die and you can't change your character. Like, they're losing their agency, their ability to even, like, and they lose the agency of making bad choices and then paying the consequences and potentially dying for it, right? Like, there's too much stealing of agency and control there for me to feel comfortable with that whole situation. So I have a player in my Ancient Dragon group right now Kasim, who like amazing character, and he is the source of a lot of the things, little problems that are in the game world, and just if that character were to ever die and be gone, like that I would not feel good about that, because it would impact my game and some of the things I have planned. But that doesn't mean that he has plot armor. If he dies, he dies, and then I'll figure it out. That's life. So I understand that, but I don't really have any compassion for that, because there's too much control and agency being taken away crap going on. So I would say let them change their character, and then you figure it out. Probably not the answer you wanted to hear. Sorry. I don't always give the answer people want to hear. Where is more questions? Will Into the Fae sequel be PF2 module as well as 5e? We don't know that. Let me tell you, it is. Uh-oh. I gotta go update our Kickstarter page momentarily. It's a lot of effort to convert things from 5th edition to PF2. And I have a very small team, and we do almost everything ourselves. So we have to be very careful about additional work that we take on. So right now, as of this moment in time, I can tell you that we are writing Escape from the Fae, which is the sequel to Into the Fae. We are writing it in both 5th edition and Pathfinder 2, as of right now. Okay. However, I don't know what the future is going to hold. I'm not going to commit to it, because we don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now. 6 months from now, we might discover as a company that, you know, our Pathfinder 2 products aren't taking off, and there's no longer an ROI on us continuing with Pathfinder 2. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. Like right now, we're committed to it. Right now, we're going hardcore. That's what we're doing. And I hope we can continue doing that. But, you know, you never know what's going to happen in the future. So it would be completely wrong, disingenuous, whatever you want to call it, misleading, not truthful, not honest with you to commit to doing it right now. I can tell you that we're planning on it being for both 5e and Pathfinder 2, but I can't commit to it. The moment that it'll get committed to is when that Kickstarter page goes live, you know, or when I give you some official messaging that says that it will be for this, this, and this. So as of right now, that's the plan, but I can't promise it. All right, more questions. Is it better to have a detailed plan, or is it better to give certain plot points to hit, possibilities to get there, and improv the in-between? It depends on what you're doing, Destroyer 243 Productions. I do both in different circumstances. If I have a location-based adventure planned out, let's call it a dungeon, I have a detailed plan. I know what's in every single room. I know what the loot is. I know what the treasure. I know what monsters are there. I know what the secrets and traps. I have everything. I have a detailed plan. My location-based adventure has a detailed plan. However, if I'm doing something a little bit different than that, I don't always have a detailed plan. In my last game session for my Pathfinder 2 game, Thieves Abound, which you can go watch that game session on my channel right here, my very last one that's up there, the very beginning of the game session was about 2 hours or so that they were attempting to do something in the game. I don't want to describe it all to you right now, but they were attempting to do something, and they played for about 2 hours, and I literally had about 2 paragraphs of prep work written for that. It had to do with some investigations, and they were interacting with different NPCs. They were trying to do some stuff. That's all I'm going to tell you. I don't want to get into it. And it's not that it's bad, it's just that it takes a long time to explain the whole story. But they went for about 2 hours doing that part of the adventure, and I had 2 paragraphs of notes on it. That's it. So I do it both ways. It depends on the nature of what you're doing. Some things you need detailed plans for, other things you don't. I think it just depends. It also depends on your degree of how comfortable you are with improv versus having things planned out. So this is a nuanced answer. It's personal, and not only that, but depends on the situation and what you're trying to do in the game. I think that's probably the best answer I can give you, I guess. I don't know. It depends. I have to go to my Kickstarter page. We have 1 hour left on the Kickstarter, and I need to make a few updates to it. because once the Kickstarter closes, you can no longer update the page. All right, let's see where we're at. I'm getting hungry too. We are at 346,000. We're 4,000 away from hitting our last stretch goal. If we hit the last stretch goal, I'm gonna have to sign like 3,000 book plates. Don't torture me, you guys. Come on. You don't want to make me suffer. You do not want to make me suffer. Well, I'm a nice guy. Yeah. I need to make updates on this page, so you can probably watch me as I make these updates. We can do it together live. I'm gonna go into the back end. I don't think there's anything secretive in the back end of the Kickstarter that people aren't supposed to see. I clicked the wrong button. Edit project? I think that's it. I need to go to my story. And then at the very top here, we're going to put a graphic. Let's see. Got to find it on my computer. Kickstarter webpage. All right, we're going to put a graphic at the very top here. And we have a nice thank you graphic that our beautiful, wonderful, awesome graphic designer, Daryl T. Jones, made for us. And thank you. Yay. We'll put that there. And then I have some text that I have already written that I'm just going to copy paste there. Because I am prepared. I'll throw that there. Oops. Oh, there's, okay. That's weird. I have no spacing here. It's so weird. It's got some weird spacing. There we go. We want to thank every single backer who brought. I'm reading it to just kind of check it to make sure I didn't do a dumb typo. When the Kickstarter closes, you can no longer update this page, so we have to get this updated beforehand. We want to thank every single backer who brought this project to life. We are so incredibly thankful for your overwhelming support. As we head into the next phases of this project, manufacturing and fulfillment, we're happy to answer your questions. The best way to contact our team is at support@thedmlair.com. Thank you so much. I think that's good. I'm going to save that. So that'll be live on the page now. And then the only thing that I have to update is if we hit our stretch goal, then I need to update this image all the way down here with a new one that shows that we have unlocked our stretch goal. But that is not the case yet. So we're just gonna go back to here and sit here. I'll check where we're at, like probably 15 minutes before we close, and then see if I have to update that image or not. Dozo, lie down. My dog is wandering. I think she smells food. She wants food. Okay, we have a super chat. Obed, thank you for the super chat, dude. I'm running ROT. I have no idea. Ring of Tyranna. Rage of Tyranny. Ring of Tyranny. Rage of the Tyrant. ROT. Ring. Revolution of Tyrancy. Help me out here, guys. I'm just gonna sit here all day. Rise of Tiamat. Thank you, Tashio. And I put into my custom world map, and I've modified it to fit my world. Okay, you've put that module into your custom world map, and you've modified it to fit your world. And I've added my own lore. It's my first time running the game. Cool, thank you. It sounds awesome, man. There was no questions, so I have nothing to answer. But thank you for sharing, dude. It took me a while to get Rise of Tiamat. Oh man, Ashley is telling me sign. That's so mean. Looking for more questions. Do you write down visual descriptions? Kind of. I find myself forgetting my descriptions all the time and feel like the mental image is bland. Tips. Well, I mean, I'll show you what I do for my games that I run for my home group. I'm gonna pull up my notes from my Pathfinder 2 game, and I'll show you what I write down. I'll just show you directly what it is. By the way, my $25 tier patrons get access to all of my notes for my home games too. So you'll literally be able to see exactly what I do for the games that I run for my players. Which might give you some useful insight, maybe, I guess. I'm trying to find it for you. I gotta click a bunch of buttons while my cat is biting my leg. So that makes it extra complicated. I have multiple distractions while my cat... Nope, that's the old campaigns. Thieves Abound, Pathfinder 2. Main quest line. Let's go to the spy... Well, extracting information... No, hold on a second. Yeah, let's... Okay, so if any of my Pathfinder 2 players are watching right now, you should stop for the next few minutes so that you don't get spoilers. Where did that go? Okay. My Word document just disappeared off the screen. Word has gone off both of my screens now. Good gravy. Sometimes I'm moving it around from screen to screen and it just disappears completely. There it is. All right, so I'm gonna... Oh my gosh. All right, I'm trying to get things finagled here, but this is not cooperating. All right, here we go. So this is my template that I use when I'm designing a home game. This is for Pathfinder 2. So if you want to look at like what I do for an area description, actually, this is probably... That was a hard bite. I ran him off. Let's see. What do I have for descriptions? I don't need a whole lot for descriptions. I can just describe things. Like, I literally put blacksmith shop, 2-story building with a forge and a shop on the first floor and the residence on the second floor. I will be able to improvise all of that. So I don't really put any description there. This is actually probably, this adventure right here is kind of, it's more like an event-based adventure. This is not actually a location-based adventure quite so much. So this might be a bad example to pull up for you. I just don't have a whole lot of stuff for this one. Let me, because of the nature of this adventure, let me pull up a different one that might be a better example for you. It's not the main quest line. This is going to be the miscellaneous quests. Yes. Okay, here we go. Miscellaneous quests. Let's open up this one because I think this will give you... This is the one that they started to run in our last game session. And this is an actual location-based adventure in a dungeon, so I probably have a better idea. Okay, so let me show you the map for this too, just so you have an idea of the map. I literally did like a randomly generated map. This is the dungeon they're in. This is the dungeon they're in, and only part of this dungeon actually has what they're there for. And by some miracle, they went in the right direction and are actually in the right part of the dungeon, because they could have totally ended up somewhere they shouldn't have. But they went in the right direction. But there are a bunch of secret doors and stuff that they might not find, which means that they could end up having to go through a lot of this dungeon and exploring it, which will be interesting. But anyway, this is the map. I just did a random generated map, which is really cool about running these things in person, because I can do a randomly generated map like this and it works just fine. But if I were playing online and that's the map I put up, it's like, oh, that's kind of lackluster, you know? So this is why I like running in person too, because I don't got to worry about having a fancy map. I can just do whatever, because I'm going to draw it out on a grid on my table anyway, so who cares? But for this one, this is the type of description I have. A cave giant stands guard in this room. It is dumb and could possibly be fooled. Debris and junk are scattered about. That's the description I wrote. I'm going to improvise that at the game table. I will totally elaborate on that when I describe it to my players. I just make crap up. This is like what I wrote. Here's a hostage cell. That's all I need to know. It's a hostage cell. I will improvise at the game table. I'll just make it up. Here's a detail. Straw covers the floor in the area where the hostages are locked. All right, I threw something in there. I don't put a ton in here. Not for this one. Let me pull up another one. I think there are some times that I have different moods or I have more time available and I might put more information in. Let me find my Spies of Droam. We ran this adventure already. let me see what the notes look like here. Okay, so I think I put more in here. So here you go. This one says contains a sofa, a long table, 6 chairs, counters, and an oven. That's all I put. Privy, horrible stink, old wilted flowers hang from the ceiling. Goblin bedroom, basic goblin-sized bed and chest. A larger bed for man-sized creatures and a chest. Obviously, I have some details and stuff about different things that I wrote down. 2 goblin-sized beds, a chest, a dirty rug, and a potted plant in the corner. Like, I'm gonna make all the description up. I don't put a whole bunch on here. Here's more. A hexagram is emblazoned in the center of the floor, and there are 6 black stone blocks are set around the like. It's a little bit more. Wooden racks stand around the room, so that gives you an idea. This is like what I do for my home games, and I have a few notes, and then I improvise stuff. Other things have more details, such as the hidden door, the loot, the specific loot that is here, the creatures. Like, I'm gonna have notes about the creatures and stuff because I know that I can improvise room descriptions very easily, so I don't need a whole lot. But other things I have more extensive notes. So this is just what I do. I have the names of different people because they're probably gonna ask for names and stuff. They had fun against this plague zombie that I totally screwed the rules up on. It made it way harder than it should have been. So anyway, that's what I do for my normal games, but you probably need more. Like, if you feel like your descriptions are bland, you probably need to write more than that so that you can have a few more notes on bullet points that you can read things off to. There's nothing wrong with going with full-blown flavor text if you need to. Like, when we run the adventures that we publish for our patrons, let me show you one of the adventures I wrote for our patrons. Let's do the Sovereign of the Sparkling Spire, because this literally got published a few days ago to our patrons. I will open this up to you and just show you an example of flavor text. I'll show you the PF2 version of it. So for this one, oh, you can't see my screen. Let me go back to my screen. For this one, it has like literal flavor text that you can read aloud. So if you need to write like word for word flavor text for each room to get your descriptions up to snuff, like so that you feel good about it, then write it if you need to. That's what we do for our patrons. Always get every single room has this descriptive text to help game masters. So, and this is the Word document. I'm not showing you the PDF, obviously. All of our stuff for patrons is nice, professional, laid out PDFs. This is the Word document. So behind the scenes sneak peek. There you go. I'm gonna close all of these things before I accidentally screw them up. There we go. I'm hungry. We have 45 minutes left in the Kickstarter, and we are at 346,000. We have a little bit to go before the stretch goal. I drank too fast and I almost spilled it out all over me. The cup was fuller than I thought it was. That is huge. Yeah, that map. Oh, baby, I know. I got excited when I saw that map. I actually had versions of this map that were smaller. Not smaller, bigger. There were bigger versions of it. And I was like, wait a second. I don't think I can flesh that out. And do you want to know how I'm going to run this map? Let me show you. Okay, I'm going to show you something else about this since somebody commented about it. Let me show you. Give me a second. I gotta go back to my folder that has all this crap in it. Thieves Abound. This is not a main quest line. This is a miscellaneous quest. This is actually a quest. I dropped a plot hook about this quest, but I didn't know if my players were going to take it or not because it wasn't their main quest line, but they decided they were really interested in it. And so they're doing it now. But the way that I'm going to actually run this is random encounters, the Copper Council. Okay, here we go. This is how I'm going to run this. So you'll notice that the map has numbers on it, right? There are different areas here on this map. And the way that I decided that I was going to run this, I don't always do this. I should say I rarely do this, but I thought, for something like this, I'm going to try something different because sometimes you try different stuff and it works well and you like it. Other times you don't, but you'll see. So the Darrow have made their base in a long forgotten dungeon that connects to the realm below. They only occupy a portion of the dungeon. The rest is abandoned or filled with other terrors. And then the other areas of the dungeon. So here's the thing. There are certain areas, 5, 6, 28, 30, 31, 32. There are certain areas of this dungeon, mostly this area right here in the lower portion that's occupied by the Darrow. All the other portions of the dungeon are abandoned or have other things in them. So what I'm planning on doing is if they go, and they haven't done this so far they've found the right rooms to go to by luck, they just happen to go there. But if they wander into the other areas, literally what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a d12 when they go into a room. A 1 to 4, it's empty. A 5 to 6, it is a trivial encounter. A 7 to 8, a low encounter. A 9 to 10, a moderate encounter. A 11, a severe encounter. A 12 is an extreme encounter. And then I literally found a website here that I'm going to use to determine what's in the rooms. And then I'm going to use the dungeon dressings table in the 5th edition Dungeon Master Guide, which is really nice, to determine what's in the rooms, to just, stuff that's in the rooms. And so let's go to this online guide really quick. So this right here, so basically I think they're level, what are they, level 2? They're level 3? I think they're level 3. Party size, there are 5 of them. And then let's pretend they come up with a room that is a low encounter. And they are underground. Perfect. Low encounter, create the encounter. There we go. It actually gives me some descriptions about what's in the room. There can be a pit that drops down into the area. You see a wood paneled natural cave, There, I will probably leave that out. And then there are 5 vine leshies hiding among vegetation. So when they come into this room, I'm probably going to say, you open this door up and you can see that a lot of this room descends downward. There are steep slopes that lead into a pitted area. And this floor is covered with vegetation. Lots and lots of vegetation. Mushrooms and other sorts of flora that grow underground. And then I'll describe a couple excess or something. And they'll be like, okay, a bunch of like plants and crap. Okay, whatever. And then there are vine leshies. And then now the vine leshies are, I won't just have them attack. I never have monsters just attack. But I'll improvise some encounter on the fly where the vine leshies might come out, and I don't know if they can talk or anything. I'd have to look them up, but that's what I would do. So if they come into any of these rooms, I'm just gonna, whoops, that's the wrong button. Any of these rooms, I'm gonna roll on a table to determine what happens. Now you'll notice that the majority of the encounters, either the room is empty or the encounters are trivial or low or moderate. So this is weighted on purpose so that the chances of getting the harder encounters is lower. And then I'm just gonna do a random table generated online. And that's how I'm gonna run the rest of that dungeon. So if they don't go into the areas that are plot relevant, I'm just gonna do random crap. Now, could I determine this random crap ahead of time as I build the dungeon? Yes, I could, but that takes time. And I don't know if they're actually gonna go there. And so I'm doing something a little different. If they go into one of the rooms, I'm gonna randomly generate it and just see what happens. And it might be fun, and it might not. And I might never do this again. I don't know, we're gonna find out. So there you go. The 12 is gonna TPK them. What 12? Room 12? Let's go to room 12. Wait, what do you, well, hold on a second. Chaos Guthian, what are you saying is gonna TP12 them? I need you to clarify. Oh, if they get an extreme encounter? It might. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's just see. Extreme encounters were supposed to be extreme, If they get it, they get it. They might run away. I might also, here's the thing though. You don't have to run this as a fight. If I get an extreme encounter, that doesn't mean it's gonna be a fight. Encounters in my games don't mean fights. Now, I understand that most published modules have the monsters fighting the characters. Like, that's just what happens. And I understand that many game masters, if there's a monster in a room, it fights. I understand that, like, we were running, it was one of the PF2 official modules, and everything was a fight. And I'm like, this is old. Like, why does everything just attack you? It's lazy writing. So not everything should be a fight. This is my biggest pet peeve with officially published modules, is monsters just fight you. Like, that the modules are designed for monsters to just attack you. And I think that's lazy game design. It's lazy writing. And we can make better games than that. And sometimes it's a game master thing. Sometimes game masters just have their monsters attack, and I think it is not an optimal way to run the game, because you are only catering to players who like combat, and there are other parts of the game that players like a lot of, like exploration and social interactions. And if every single monster in a dungeon just fights, then you miss those things. So I think there's lots of reasons why you don't just have monsters attack. And one of my biggest gripes with officially published modules that I've seen is that monsters just attack, and I think that's just bad. So in the stuff that we publish, that's not how we publish things for the DM Lair. All of our DM Lair products, we're very, very careful to have role-playing notes that describe how a monster would behave, and give it reasons to not attack. It has a motivation, it has goals, it has fears, whatever we put in there, so that a game master has the tools they need to not just have monsters attack. Because I think sometimes because many published modules don't give you those role-playing notes for monsters, a game master will be like, well, I got monsters in a room and I don't know what to do with them, so I guess they just attack. But if you give them a few bullet points of role-playing notes, then the game master has something to do that isn't just attacking. So I think there's a better way of publishing adventures and encounters than the way that I see it done most of the time. So yes, you're right. A level 12, the extreme encounter could very well TPK a Pathfinder 2 group. But if I'm running that and I get an extreme monster, chances are I'm probably not going to have it fight. Now, the players might decide to attack it. Well, then they chose that. That's on them now, right? But I will probably portray that monster in a way that it doesn't want to fight for whatever reason. I don't care. I'll figure it out. Tashio says Trouble Under Atari is like that. Oh, that monsters always just attack? Beyond the Witchlight is designed to avoid fights. See, I think so. I don't buy any of Wizards of the Coast's most recent products. I stopped buying their products probably last summer. And then the OGL sealed the deal. But I was getting the sense that some of their modules were beginning to trend better toward not having everything just attack. But that's only what I've heard. I can't really confirm that experientially. So Tashio is saying that Trouble Under Otari is like that. Monsters just attack you. Yeah, and that's lazy writing. I'm sorry, it is. It's lazy. It's lazy. And it's bad game design, personally, in my opinion. Bad game design. It's not how you should run your adventures. I hate that crap. I was in a game once where literally, like, the game master. I've been in games many times where game masters were like, you open the door and there's 3 goblins in the room. They attack. Roll initiative. It's like, why? That's stupid. I don't know. It's my pet peeve. It's just it's lazy writing. It's bad game design. Period of story. How do you make a villain voice if English is your second language? You do the best you can. You just change the intonation of your voice. Like, I can make a villain voice in Spanish. Oye, mañana te voy a llevar ahí afuera y te voy a matar, hombre. Así que ora hoy y ora a tu Dios, porque mañana te termino. See, I just changed the tone of my voice. I did it in Spanish for you. Okay, you can do it. You just change the tone of your voice. You try to make it whatever, creepier or lower or whatever, Ich möchte dich umbringen. All right, I don't know. I don't speak German that well, but you just change your voice and you speak in a different language. Just because it's a different language doesn't mean you can't change the tone of your voice when you speak in that language. Gesundheit. Thank you. I cut all extreme from my game except story ending boss. They're brutal. Yeah, they're especially solo extremes. What I'm finding in Pathfinder 2 is that extreme encounters are one thing, but when it's a single monster that's extreme, that's almost worse because Pathfinder, there's no bounded accuracy and everything just scales linearly. If you come across an extreme monster, their armor class is so much higher than the characters to hit bonus. The DCs are so much higher. Like, everything is so much higher that players find themselves where they can't even hit the monster, they can't do any damage, they feel useless. They're not just failing their saving throws, they're crit failing everything. The monster isn't just hitting them, they're critically hitting them every single time. Because of the way things scale, a solo extreme monster is just terrifying. And it makes players feel like garbage because they're worthless. They can't make any headway. Like my group and I, in our last game session, we had a very good discussion. You can go look at the video. It's our last Thieves Abound game session. At the very end of the video, the last half hour or so, we had a great discussion where my players were explaining to me their frustration with the Pathfinder 2. And after we got done talking, a light bulb clicked on and I realized why they were frustrated, because I had been putting solo bosses kind of that were very, very challenging. And because of the way that the scaling works, I was like, that's why they're frustrated, because everything is so, oh, that's why a light bulb came on. And I was like, okay, I need to start having, instead of having one tough enemy, I need to have a group of 5 or something, because then it's still challenging, but the armor classes aren't as high. Their hit bonuses aren't as high. And so they're not getting crit all the time. And they're able to, they feel like they're doing something. They're hitting the monsters. It's more satisfying. And so I had like an epiphany, because I'm used to 5th edition. I can put solo bosses out in front of you and it's not a problem because of bounded accuracy. You still feel like you're accomplishing something. Pathfinder 2 is a different beast. And so I'm learning that, right? So I had that light bulb come on, and now I'm excited for our next game session because I'm going to be able to fix what I feel is a problem. And that's my problem because I've been homebrewing all of our adventures, and so I made that problem. But now I think I have an idea of how to fix it, and I'm excited because our games are going to get better. Yeah, Tashio, you're right. Are there any things that you ban in every game in 5e? I do have a short list of bans. There are like 3 things. It's one of the barbarian subclasses is banned. Elven accuracy is banned. And there's another thing. Halfling. There's some halfling feat too that was crazy. I forget what that was. It's a short list. It's literally like under 5 things that are banned in my games. I've never banned Twilight Cleric. I've never had anybody play it. I generally only ban stuff once somebody has done it. Not always. Some, like, Elven Accuracy got banned immediately. But generally speaking, I only ban something when somebody actually does it, and then I realize, wow, that's messed up. Then it usually gets dealt with. The Halfling Racial Lucky, I don't think I banned that one. I might have, I can't remember. Healing Spirit. Healing Spirit got a homebrew to it. I forget what it was, but there was some special ruling that we did on that one. But anyway. Yes, somebody's talking about Counterspell. I hate Counterspell. It makes the game boring, more boring for everybody. Like, that's what it does. Like, as the game master, I can no longer cast spells because I'm getting counterspelled, which makes the game less interesting. Now my enemies can only just hit you with their swords and stuff. And then as a player, if you're a wizard who's getting counterspelled, you're not having fun either because now you're no longer doing anything. So I think that counterspell is absolutely atrociously stupid. I hate it in the game. I would love for counterspell to come out of the game. It does not make the game more fun for players or the game master, in my personal opinion. Now players might be excited when they counterspell the enemy because they prevented them from doing something bad. I get that, but you also prevented something interesting from happening in the game too. And the game master's not having fun with that. And when my bad guys are counterspelling your wizard, you're not having fun because you're getting counterspelled. Counterspell sucks. I've used the counter. I don't think it's called counterspelling. It's called, in Pathfinder 2, there's a different term for it. It's close, but it's not exactly the same. I've used that once in our game because I wanted to try out the game mechanic to see how it works. But I don't plan on using it very often. In fact, I plan on mostly ignoring it because I hate that as a game mechanic. But I did use it once as a game master because I wanted to learn the game mechanic a little bit better and get a feel for it. And you can read something and that's great, but until you actually put it into practice in the game, you really don't know how it works and feels and stuff. And it helps you remember it better. Silvery Barbs is bad. I've heard bad things about that one. I don't recall offhand what that stuff does. Mrs. Succubus says, even as a player, things like Counterspell are super boring. I'd rather just have spellcasting be a thing in the game rather than be a thing that you try to take out of the game. Like, have it one way or another. Where did I get this mug? I don't know. It was like off Amazon or something. You can probably find mugs like this on Amazon. I might have a link on my Amazon store to the mug. I don't know. I'd look on Amazon. The counterspell in Pathfinder is way more fair. It might be, yeah. I used it once, like I said. I don't recall the specifics on it. But the 5th edition version sucks. It's basically a big like, you suck, no. Go home and sit on ham or something. I don't know. All right, I'm looking to start doing my very first go as a game master. How many times do you reckon I should play as a player before running my own game? When do I know I'm ready? You don't need to play at all as a player. Just start game mastering, dude. It's not a big deal. When I first started running D&D in high school, I had never been a game master. Ever. I got the book. I didn't even know it was a book. I didn't even know it was a game. I just thought it was a cool book. And then as I was reading it, I realized it was a game, and I was like, okay. And then I like, you know, strong-armed my brother into playing with me. And then later I got some friends to do it with me. And I was never actually a player until I was a player in college once for a Marvel superhero game, but not for D&D. The time that I would consider that I was a real player beyond just a one-shot was after college, when I was a player in a few games. So like I began as a game master and I ran games, and so there's no reason you can't be a game master without being a player first. You just start playing games and then just run games. And there's so many resources out there. There are like there are videos out there of people actually playing the game. They're called actual plays. I have them on my own channel. You can watch our games. You can watch my Curse of Strahd game. You can watch my Hand of Light game. You can watch my Thieves Abound game, which we're playing right now. And you can see people playing. That gives you an idea of how things are done, kind of. So you don't need to play first as a player. It's beneficial. I'm not going to say you won't learn things if you're a player first, or whatnot. So, but you don't have to at all. I'd be a game master if that's what you want to do. If you're excited about game mastering, then be a game master. Then you'll be fine. Just make sure that if you're gonna watch things online, make sure they're actually playing the game and they're not putting on shows. Because if you're watching a show, that's not how real games usually are run or played. They're putting on a show. It's a show. There's a difference. So if you're watching a real game being played, that'll give you an idea of how a game goes. If you're watching a show, then you're going to learn how people entertain an audience in order to get views and stuff. I don't really make pantheons I have made pantheons of gods before, but I don't really do that a whole lot because I used pre-made settings most of the time in my games. Almost always. I've used Forgotten Realms for years. Now I use Eberron in my Thieves Abound campaign. I don't usually make my own game worlds. I usually use pre-made game worlds. So, I mean, I have made pantheons before. Like I've written manuscripts for books where I've made pantheons. What else have I done a pantheon for? I don't know. I've done it before. I don't think it matters. I don't know that there's anything that's essential to a pantheon. Most of the time, a lot of these pantheons are just based off the Greek myths and Roman mythology, you know, or they'll be like, oh, there's a sun god. Well, if there's a sun god, there should be a moon god. All right. Oh, and then there's probably like a god of the underworld. Okay, cool. What if there's like the god of the earth? Oh, that makes sense. Okay, what about the god of the sky then? Oh, okay, that's cool. Then what's the difference between the sun god and the sky god? Oh, let's figure that out. Okay. All right. You just start making crap up, dude. I don't know. And they don't even have to be related to that crap, because that's the one way to do it. You could just say there's 5 gods, and they don't have portfolios or things. They are who they are, you know. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I don't think anything's totally necessary, but you probably got to check some boxes. Like there's probably like a good deity, and then there's probably a bad deity. If that's how you want to explain good and evil in your world, you know. But you don't have to at all. There could just be one deity, and you know, those that follow that deity are good, and those that don't might be neutral. They might be good. They might be evil. Who knows? You know, there doesn't even have to be a bad deity. There could just be just one, you know, and he's good. So there's so many different ways to do it. You know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters in so much that it changes the flavor of your world, right? But who's to say what's right and what's wrong about that? let's go see what we're at on our Kickstarter. Let's close this. $347,000. All right, we have 20 minutes left to go. 20 minutes left to go. Have you seen PF2 two new classes playtest? Nope. I don't really follow. I don't have a lot of time to follow that sort of stuff, so no. I don't make videos on that sort of stuff either. Like there's some content creators that like to make videos on all that stuff because that's what they do, you know, and it tends to work very well because people are usually really excited about all that new stuff, and so it helps them get views and stuff like that, you know. But I just don't follow that stuff. I'm not super interested in that. Little guy. He probably wants his belly rubbed. What's your most memorable moment DMing? Oh, I don't know. That's a great answer for you. I made some videos about stories from my games and stuff on my channel. Those are pretty memorable. I mean, I remember times where like in this one game, I don't know, man. My brain is kind of fried right now. I'm probably not. I'm not in like a thinking story mode right now. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling for other questions now. Any tips on making spellcaster NPCs that can rival the party in a tournament setting? Working on an encounter or series of encounters like the Triwizard from Harry Potter. Well, I don't know what that is. So the only what I can tell you about enemy spellcasters is that they need a combination of mobility and being able to stay away from the characters, otherwise they're going to die very quickly. And they need minions. Those are the most important things. They need minions that can get up front and tie down the characters, and they need mobility to stay away, like, you know, Misty Step or things like that, or they're up on pillars where the players can't reach them. I don't know. They need to stay away. Those are the important things. Those are the very critical things, because if you have an enemy spellcaster that has a bunch of cool spells, but the players, the barbarian, the fighter, and the rogue just get up next to him and start stabbing him, he's going to die in one round, and there's nothing you can do about it. If we're talking about 5th edition, because they have no hit points, they're dead in one round, and they're done. Call it a day. So you need mobility, you need minions. Those are two absolute requirements for any spellcaster fight at all. Otherwise, your spellcaster's done. And by the way, we were talking about counterspell before. This might actually be where the conversation about counterspell came from. But if you have a spellcaster NPC enemy and one of your characters has counterspell, then you're pretty much, that fight's over. There's no sense in having that fight because they're just going to get counterspelled in everything they do, and no fight. So hope for not that, or stay more than 60 feet away, or cast your spells from behind cover and have them as a ready to action, and then you pop around the corner and have it go off. You'd have to do shenanigans in order to be able to cast your spells. Yes, you can counterspell a counterspell. That's a thing. You can absolutely do that. So you could just have your enemy spellcaster have counterspell, and then when the wizard tries to counterspell, you counterspell their counterspell, and then your normal spell goes off. That's totally a thing. You could do that, you know. And if your players are like, "That's bullcrap, that's shenanigans," you should be like, "Dude, having counterspell in the game to begin with is bullcrap." So we're on the same page, man. All right, so Nathan says, this is the first Kickstarter I've ever backed. How does this all work? What happens once it ends? All right, so when the Kickstarter ends, so it's going to end in about 15 minutes. When the Kickstarter ends, what's going to happen is there's about 2 weeks or so that there's a bunch of stuff in the back end that's going on. And then eventually, not after 2 weeks, but probably a couple weeks, you're going to get a survey. For us, it's going to come from BackerKit. You're going to get a survey from BackerKit that's going to ask you basic stuff. It's going to ask you, your shipping address if you got physical books. It's going to there are going to be some other questions, like let's pretend that you got the hard covers, the standard covers, but there are special edition covers. You might get a question on there that says, would you like to upgrade, or would you like to get any other add-ons? And you'll answer all these questions on the survey. And then give us your address if you're getting stuff shipped to you. And then you're going to provide the payment method for the shipping charge. Like the project itself, you're just paying for the books and the product itself. But the shipping charges are going to be after the fact. So you're going to have to give payment information for the shipping charges. And that will come to you as an email from BackerKit, and you'll click a link and it'll take you to BackerKit where you can fill out all that information. And then once you have all that filled out, what we're going to be doing on our end is figuring out what we need to order from our printer and then putting in that order. And then they'll do like small test runs and send us samples so that we can confirm that, yes, this looks great, print this. And then they'll do a full print run. Once they do a full print run, basically it'll get shipped to our fulfillment partner who is in Oregon, I think in Oregon or Washington State, something like that. And then they'll ship it to you. But what we do, at least for the DM Lair, what we do is you will get an update every 2 weeks that tells you the status of our project. This is something I've always done. This is my third Kickstarter now, and this is something that I always do. Every 2 weeks on Tuesday, you will get an update from me, and I tell you, this is what we're doing now and the current status. This is what we're planning on doing. This is things that we have upcoming that we're going to do. And you're going to get every 2 weeks an update. You'll know exactly what's going on. And then at some point, we're going to lock down the BackerKit surveys and orders, and then we'll start fulfilling and stuff. So that's like a general overall idea of like what happens. Does it take a long time to make a PF2 character compared to D&D or maybe other systems? In my experience, a PF2 character does take longer to make than a D&D character. D&D characters are very streamlined as far as you don't have as many options. But a PF2 character, you have a lot more options, which makes it take longer. So that's both a good thing and a bad thing. If you're a player who likes to have a bunch of different options and likes to really be able to customize your character a lot, then that's a real big advantage. If that doesn't interest you and you just want something that's super simple and quick, well then, PF2 is a more complex system, so that might not be your cup of tea. Have you seen the kineticist? No, I haven't. I don't even know what that's for. But the answer is no. Do you plan song or music playlist for your sessions, or have you a dedicated folder to choose from? So if I'm playing online, I do have a bunch of songs in a playlist, and what I do is, depending upon the scene, I'll just pick a different song. So if they're in a battle, I'll pick one of the battle songs. If they're in the forest, I'll pick some forest music. If they're in a city, I'll pick some city music. And I just have a variety of things that I'll just throw in when it's needed. If they're exploring a dungeon, I have some different types of themes of dungeon music that I'll just throw in. Now, that's if I'm online, because it makes it really easy for me to pick my music for my playlist. It's super, super easy. If I'm playing in person, it's more complicated. And what I usually do is I have some music in the background. I have a playlist that's just going. What I do right now for in person is, where is this? Tabletop audio is what I use for in-person games. And I'll go here and I will build out. They have a playlist right here. I would literally I'll just start. That's for patrons. I actually am a patron of them. I'll just start adding stuff to the playlist, and I'll get a big old bunch of stuff added to the playlist. And then I have a playlist up here. I'll make sure it's on loop, and then I just start playing it, and it just loops through this constantly. And a lot of this music is really nice thematic background music. There's no words or there's no lyrics. It's just, it's background music designed for tabletop role-playing games. So it's really, really works really well. And my in-person games, it's just looping through here playing in the background while we're playing. And then I don't have to worry about trying to find a specific theme, because I've got too much stuff. It's in person. I have a little iPad that's not as easy for me to select music from, and also my iPad is not connected to my surround sound system, so it's more difficult for me to control it. If I were to control music in a granular way when I'm playing in person, I would have to get up from the table, walk over here, pick the song, go back to the table. Now, I'm sure that there's probably some tech that I could find that would make this work, where I could control the music playlist on my PC here from like a laptop or something over there. I'm sure there's technology that exists to do that. I don't care. Having just an ongoing playlist is, it serves my personal needs enough. So anyway, those are the differences between in-person and online. If it were super easy for me to change my music playlist while I'm in person, I would do it, because it does make the game better when you have thematically appropriate music for your scene. It absolutely improves the game, which is why I do it when I'm online, because I know it's a good thing and it's easy for me to do. In person, a little more challenging, so I don't do it. I definitely have music going. This is like one of the things you can do to like make your games just feel better, just instantly out of the gate, is to have music in the background. There's one game that I was a player in that never had any music going, and you can just, it didn't feel it to give us some music, just give us some music, please, and it just makes it better. All right, let's see where we're at. We have 10 minutes to go. We're at 347,000. Hey Matthew, what's up, dude? A DM named Doug. What's up, Doug? Good day to my favorite DM with the greatest case of dissociative identity disorder. What is that? I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna look that up. Dissociative. I'm either gonna be offended or something. What is that? It's a has multiple distinct personalities. Oh! So is this what they used to call multiple personality disorder? Do they no longer call it that, and they made up a new term? Dissociative identity disorder, is it what you call it now? Okay. Did multiple personality disorder become a bad term or something, or is it just two different things that way the same thing? Okay, it was a political, so it's a politically correct thing. So you can't call it. So if I call it multiple personality disorder, do people get mad at me now? Is that a thing I shouldn't do? And I'm supposed to call it this? You see, it's hard to keep up with this stuff. Oops, I was trying to show you keep a look on the Kickstarter. People are gonna get mad at me. Luke, how can you? Dude, come on, man. Just let's calm down, all right, folks? It's the same thing. It's just a different word. It's not a bad term. DID is just a more accurate way to refer to it. Okay. The understanding of what the disorder is. Things change in the medical field. Oh, okay. So they understand what it is better, and so they now have a better term that describes it. Is that the deal? It's what all the kids on TikTok are self-diagnosing with these days. Well, a lot of these kids on TikTok are crazy too. Yeah, right? I just called HR. Oh man, I got called HR. I got called HR on me. Do you realize, Jordan? I hope you realize this. Your HR department does not have the employee at the forefront of their mind. HR departments are there to protect the company. They're there to protect the company. That is their purpose, from litigation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The extent that they care about employees is minimal. They really are there to protect the company. So I just want you to know that. Like, so the next time you have a problem with your boss and you're like, I should talk to the HR department, that might not actually help you. So just, yeah. Oh no, somebody in chat is the HR department and all the drama is with me. I'm on vacation today. They're like, don't talk about HR crap. I'm on vacation. I don't want to think about this. I need to go to the bathroom. I have 7 minutes left. We have 7 minutes left and I need to go to the bathroom. Well, you know what? I'm going to play you a video about our Kickstarter and then join our we have a giveaway going on today, you guys. Get the giveaway. Giveaway. All right, there you go. Join the giveaway because we're going to, oh, you're seeing my back. Don't look at my back end. Close your eyes. Join the giveaway. I just put a link to the giveaway. We'll draw the winner to the giveaway in a little bit when the stream, right before the stream ends. I'm gonna play you a sleazy ad. I have to go bio.
Looking to master the art of running a role-playing game? Look no further than The Secret Art of Game Mastery. Now available on Kickstarter. Whether you're a new game master looking to learn the ropes quickly, or a veteran seeking new tips and tricks to elevate your game, this guide has got you covered. Say goodbye to feeling overwhelmed by the ins and outs of RPGs and say hello to becoming a confident and skilled game master. In The Secret Art of Game Mastery, the DM Lair team has distilled over 100 years of real-time game master experience into one easy-to-use book, with advice on planning sessions, engaging your players, making combat more fun and more. The Secret Art of Game Mastery will become an indispensable tool in your GM toolkit. Furthermore, the two companion books, The Secret Art of Preparation and The Secret Art of Note-Taking, offer guidance and templates as you craft your campaign and adventures, making it easier than ever to capture important notes and plan future plot points for your games. Level up your game in any system or genre with The Secret Art of Game Mastery. Click the link on the screen to back the project now.
All right. Oh, look at that, a black screen. I'm going to review our Kickstarter page now to make sure that there's no last minute things we need to update. Oh man. As an HR, I earn my boss complaints from other companies. Oh, nice. All right, let's review our page. Let's make sure that our page is okay looking. So we have, because once this closes, we can't change anything. Thank you. Does our link work? We got to make sure our links work. Let's click that link and see what happens. Oh, it's not gonna work. That should work. Support at thedmlayer.com. That should totally work. Mail to support at thedmlayer.com. That link should totally work. Okay. And then we have this. And then all of this stuff. That looks good. I don't think we need to do any updates because I have this at the top. The only update we would need to make is if we actually hit our last stretch goal, and we're like 2,000 away from it. We hit 5,000 backers though. That's cool. 5,000 backers. Oh, you can't even see my screen. I'm like talking about my screen and you can't even see it. 5,000 backers. That's exciting. That is exciting. Oh, that is so cool. Nice. That number, I don't know, it means a lot to me because it's like 5,000 people that backed it. What? He wants his belly rubbed. All right. He wants his belly rubbed. Little guy. Little guy. It's not often that little guy comes up on my desk. Little guy, what are you doing up here? You want your belly rubbed? Huh? You want your belly rubbed? He's our skinny cat. He's super skinny. He eats all the time. He's always eating. He's just super skinny. He loves to get his belly rubbed. He'll go on the floor and roll around and get his belly rubbed. Well, let's go to the cat cam. I got a couple cats here chilling, just hanging out. Matthew asks, what is the last stretch goal? Mrs. Succubus says Luke has to sign 3,000 books. Yes, the cat has a high metabolism because he eats all the time. He eats, so I'm not worried about that. He's just good metabolism. We have 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes, baby. 2 minutes. Yeah. I'm just like waiting for the 2 minutes to run out, and then this thing will be done. This thing will be done. Oh, there we go. There's some more. Now it's on a second. Oh, look at it. It's a second. It has a second countdown. Look at that. 99 seconds. Oh. You know what I should do? Because just in case we actually hit this stretch goal, I need to be ready to update this page. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to go to story. And wow, this is like right down to the last second. Up, it went up by a little bit. I should get ready. I need to get ready to update this. Oh my gosh, that's so close to needing to update this. Holy mackerel. I'm gonna have to throw in a quick update here. If we actually hit this, we're like so down to the wire on this. Oh my word, you guys. All right, I'm gonna add that. How close are we? Oh, 24 seconds. Oh, I don't think we're gonna get it. No, we're not gonna get it. Nah, we're not gonna get it. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. 9 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. 5,008 backers. Oh, 5,012. 5,012 backers pledged $348,556.50 to bring this project to life. Wow, it's like feels so good when the Kickstarter ends. You have no idea how much extra work my entire team has been going through this last month of running this thing. I mean, we still have lots of work to do, but at least we don't have like what we've been doing this whole every single day, every month. Wow. Cool. Well, thank you everybody who supported the project. I appreciate it. It feels really awesome. Somebody asked a question. Somebody asked if they don't back it, can you still get the books? We're probably only, I mean, I don't know. I can never predict the future, but we'll have one print run for sure, because we have to do a print run to fulfill the project, obviously. But when you do a print run, you don't just order the exact number of books that you need. You usually order about 10% more, roughly. You need to order some extra to account for damages and replacement books. You also order some extra because the printer does not guarantee you an exact quantity. They have a margin of error. Like if I ask for 5,000 books, they tell me, they literally say, we will give you 5,000 books plus or minus 5%. So I might be 5% under what I ask for. They might give me 5% more than I ask for. They literally tell me there's a margin of error on their print run. So I have to order extra to make sure that I get enough, that I get what I need. So I'm ordering extra for damaged products that I have to replace. I'm ordering extra to account for the variance in the print run, which means that once we've fulfilled to all of our backers, we will have extra books. We will always have extra books, which means that you better believe I'm going to sell the extra books, because I'm not going to just go pulp them. I'm going to just put them up there in the store and people can go buy them. But that also means we have limited quantities, and we might not do another print run unless it's associated with another Kickstarter. So, but there's going to be some extra that will be up there at some point. You can go out right now to our store and get Into the Fae and Lairs and Legends and Loot and Lore. Why? Because we had extras on our print runs and we're selling them now. It's what you do. So, okay, we need to draw the winner to our giveaway. All right, bye, Ashley. Good night. Stayed up late to watch the Kickstarter close. Let me see. Let's draw the winner to our giveaway, and then I'm gonna stop the live stream because I'm gonna go get some food, and then I'm gonna work out, get some weightlifting in, kettlebells actually. All right, drawing the winner to our giveaway. Let's see. Draw the winner. There we go. Oh, I pushed the wrong button right there. All right. Well, I don't know how to pronounce this name exactly. So, I can't, what? They changed my interface where I can't even see what I need to see on this person now. Okay. All right. I have the winner here. I'm not going to read the name off on stream. Sorry, guys. But I will email you. And we will get you hooked up with your book or DM Lair store credit. All right, cool. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are finished. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for backing the Kickstarter and supporting, or just being here and chilling. Appreciate you all. All right. Congratulations, mystery person, you won. Yes, you did. I'm just not reading the name off on stream. Sorry. And I'm going to stop the stream now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We will see you next time. Goodbye.